All right, we're all set.
All right. Unfortunately, to report, we do not have a quorum tonight.
We still have to call roll.
So, okay, very good. So Patrick Kunkel is present. Eugene Ochoa is present. And Albert, correct. Is present.
We do not have quorum. And I'm sorry, we also need to mention that we started at 6:15 p.m.
All right. Guess we'll move into public comment. Would you like to- The rules are either 3 minutes, and someone may yield. Would you like to take one?
No, I was just here really to listen.
I'm sorry. If you'd like to speak, just please state your name and your address.
You don't have to give your address, by the way, if you don't want.
Yeah.
Gina Coscuyuela, West Prestwick Place, and I just am here to discuss or listen in on the security issues that we've been having in Auckland.
Thank you for being here.
Would anyone else like to make a public comment? Let's see, well, public comment.
All right. Well, we'll move into,
Just say that public comments is full.
oh, okay, we'll close public comment. Moving into old business. You approve the minutes.
Excuse me 1 second. Did she want to say something?
I didn't like. She
No.
chose.
Or you don't want, you just want to listen? Okay, gotcha.
I guess. My president's report is omitted, but the one thing I do want to report, May 11th. They were working on a picnic at the park for the community.
Nice.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
And our security.
Thanks. Big,
All
big
right.
part.
So I guess we'll move to the next thing, security guard service updates and reports, please.
Thank you very much. SFN Security Services, John Frenstorff and George Gonzalez. We submitted our quarterly reports for everyone to review. Just want to emphasize that we have increased the number of supervisory visits and inspection reports, information reports, which helps explain why there was an increase in the number of reports for the month of March compared to February and January. Given incidents that happened recently in the community, we're trying to increase the presence of our supervisors. We're having a supervisor visit now at least once a day in different times. So there's constant oversight of the community. The number of vehicles has also experienced a slow increase. Was reported at 12,000 in January, 12,600 in February, and 13,700 in March. So we believe that's just more traffic in the community. The number doesn't suggest anything other than
But it's higher or lower?
it's higher. It's going up, like I said, consistently 12,000 in January, 12,600 in February, and 13,700 in March. So 1,100 more between March and February. Now, we have to consider that March was a longer month, a couple of more days. But I don't know if that helps explain the whole story.
There's a lot of construction going on too. There's been a lot of in and out of that.
Yeah, yeah. As far as incidents, we found, we received a report from a security officer that was found asleep. That officer was immediately removed. And we discussed with JP corrective actions. These include that we have added a radio for both the guardhouse and the rover. This means that they don't need to use the phone to communicate with us. And they can utilize the phone basically to document any activity in the community. And this radio is also connected with the other Panama Miami Lakes guardhouses and our SLC, which operates 24/7. So the radio traffic is also meant to keep them alert and awake. And we also added to the rover, an indoor camera that allows us to view the driver, while they're obviously in the vehicle. We have removed access to the exterior camera so that we're not, documenting any activity in the community. We're just focused on the inside of the vehicle so that we can focus again on the, integrity and the security officer doing the job. So, those are the highlights. As I was mentioning prior, we had, 2 incidents with vehicles with our security officers. One was a vehicle theft, from, the parking area designated for our security officer. So the vehicle was stolen by breaking a side window, and then we were able to take the officer's car. And another vehicle for another officer was hit, while she was actually very close to the vehicle. That could have been also an accident
In that parking.
in the same parking lot. So, we would like to explore other parking options for the officers, or an alternative parking so that officers can feel that their vehicle is being left in a protected area while they're engaged in their jobs. I don't know, sir, do you want to add anything?
No, I was looking on the note. Again, I just feel that some of our officers, when this situation occurred with, theft, they felt, insecure. Even some of them were saying, I don't want to go back to that place. If I'm taking care of one place, but I can't look at my own, my vehicle. But, we expressed that we were gonna be having a conversation with the town. It kind of like calmed them down and eased them down. So at that time, they were, we're going back and to reassure them, that they are gonna be safe.
Well, we certainly can empathize with them because we've had cars stolen in our neighborhoods. So we know how that is. But Joe, I just want to mention something. I think, first of all, thank you for everything you guys are doing. I'm talking to all the security guards all the time, and they're doing a good job. My only complaint right now still is that I see this, and it's a specific security guard. Actually, there's 2 of them where they're talking on the phone while they're driving, and they're driving pretty fast. They're not looking left, right, they're not looking here, they're just driving and they're going, and what I'm gonna do is start videoing it, because I've already brought it up, but nothing's been done about it. That's the only thing that other than that, I have no other.
Do you have any specific names for those officers? Or so I can address it?
I can let you know afterwards.
If you have
Yeah.
actually better for me, because if you have a time frame.
Yep.
I know who's working on. those
Yeah,
time
they're,
frames.
they're working right now.
Additionally, for the record, who did you bring it up to?
To the security guard in front, not that specific person, but the other one.
I would recommend going forward. Do you have my contact information already?
I think I have the email.
Yeah, I'll get it to you anyway.
Yeah.
But, please bring it to my attention.
Yeah.
So that we can address it, especially now that we have cameras in the vehicle, it makes it easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
To, be able to tell. So if you could do, rather
Absolutely.
than taking a video of it.
Yep.
Just simply write down the time that it took.
I will have your contact.
Perfect.
You can contact me directly.
Perfect.
I have no problem. You can contact me at any time, nights, mornings.
And I give you one.
Weekends. Again, any issues that may arise at that point in time, we try to address them at that moment in time. I also reach out to JP, hey JP, this situation occurred, and we address it right then and then.
Yeah, and I know you guys are doing it, so I appreciate it.
And I don't wanna indicate that this is news for this, but there have been occasions where our officers are called to react to a certain event that is being identified. So they may be, again, it's not an excuse, they may be heading directly to a certain location where something was reported.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse, because they should always be minding themselves of the driving.
Especially the driving.
They could, but the situation it wasn't, because I
Yeah.
was actually running right next to the car.
Okay.
And having said that, now that they have walkie talkies.
Yeah.
They should be on their phones more, right?
Yeah.
So.
I noticed the same thing,
Yeah, same thing.
I appreciate the.
just in the front yard, you say zoom.
Just keep in mind, whenever you're telling another guard, you're just telling their coworker. So you gotta, always try to bring it to one of the superiors so that we can, because I could say I've never heard of this incident.
Yeah, I remember.
I brought it up last meeting too.
Did you bring it up?
Yes. they bring
I
it
will
up,
go
yes.
back and follow up. on it.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
This is my second time bringing it up, so.
Not only, and I appreciate, you know, you bringing it up now.
I mean, just, I think we can improve.
Absolutely. My apologies for that.
No, no worries.
I have a question. Maybe we wanna open up back to public comments because he came in late and you might wanna say something.
No, I
You gotta
got
vote for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you wanna make it,
Well, are you interested
like
in
to
speaking?
Say
Or
something.
say something?
We'd like
Yeah,
to-
I make a motion, Coscuyuela, right?
Yeah.
I like to make a motion, Mr. Coscuyuela be allowed to speak.
Second, so we're in favor?
Yeah.
Please,
Okay.
you do have to introduce yourself and,
Okay.
but he has to state his address.
My name is John Cosuyuela. I'm a homeowner. 16220 West Westwood Place.
Thank you.
I've made the same observations that the gentleman has made on several occasions. And the cell phone use. I've seen that, and I've seen it at the guard gate. I purposely don't get a sticker. I've lived there 21 years. And I've gotten a sticker maybe 5 years. It's just, I figured. Might as well be on their toes. You see them come out with the cell phone. So there's definitely a distraction. Number two, can't you put an alarm on the car, on the speed limit? So when they exceed 10 miles an hour, at least there's a record that they're doing this, and you can bring it up to them, and then you can identify whether it's that they're reacting to an incident with a call and in a history and a log. Just an idea.
The vehicle has a GPS, and the GPS will record any deviation. We can install that permit, so that shouldn't be a problem.
It's just an idea. And
Now, I just want to reply to that, indicating that as we were starting our services, we also got a call from a resident indicating that they were going too slow.
Yeah, it was,
Slow.
yeah, at first we were too fast, okay, we regulated that part. So we went, you know, whether the advice was at that point in time. And then they called us back stating, hey, they're going too slow, it looks like a tortoise, and we're like, okay, we'll address it again. So again, it's depending on how far, how fast.
We'll address that right now. but
Yeah,
As professionals, what is your opinion that car should be driving?
in a community, usually, 8 miles per hour to 10 miles per hour after. If you want it not too fast, 'cause 20 miles is already,
Yeah.
especially in the community, it's too fast.
Well, if they're gonna drive fast, at least stop at home and look around.
Yeah.
I don't mind if they go a little bit faster. I mean, just look left and right, look around, don't just be on the phone while you're driving fast. Whether you're driving fast or
Of
slow,
course.
it's more visibility. Just look at.
I have a third observation, which is at night, driving around with those bright lights, you're telling the bad guy you're coming from a quarter mile down. There should be some happy medium. Where instead of driving around constantly with those lights,
Flashing light?
the way it happens, at least in Loch Lomond, the way it happens, because I have confronted them, there's a spotter. And he's on a bicycle or he's walking, frequently on a bicycle, wearing a hoodie, and they have their earphones on, and they're communicating. I've encountered this 2 occasions and I've confronted them. They'll claim that they're looking for a friend's house, that they're visiting a friend, and they do it Saturday at 10 PM, so it's not that late either.
Yeah.
So, that person is communicating when they see the guard with another guy at the other end. So, by the way, the way that I have confronted them is because every once in a while I come home, I turn all the lights off. And then I take them walking around. That's how I have come across them more than once. My father was the one that had the BMW stolen in his garage. I mean, that was egregious, right? But this is how they're casing the neighborhood. It's active. And the guard with the lights, I mean, you're telling these kids, hey man, I'm right here. So it's just an idea.
Well, we chose, lights that, I don't want to be too technical about it, but when you look about these strobe lights, you have the option of selecting colors, and some of them are authorized for security purposes. And then you can select how many lights you want lighting. And we chose the ones that are more discreet. Now, the next option for that is simply to turn them off at some point in time and simply have that vehicle operate like a regular vehicle at night. And again, that's something that we can execute if
if that's a decision that you want us to pursue. Just give it some, give what I'm telling you some thought. You're telling the guy 9 houses down.
I'm sorry, sir. Do you want to extend public comment?
Yeah.
I move to extend public.
I second.
Go ahead.
No,
We have rules, we got. Sorry.
yeah, I don't know the rules, so.
Yeah.
feel free to-
Don't worry,
Exactly.
Don't worry about
I
it.
have no idea.
Go ahead.
That's what we like to meet.
I'm a bit like a bull in the china shop. But these are,
Yeah.
and by the way, I've only been there for 21 years. I have lived in that neighborhood since 1978. I grew up there. So the input that I'm giving you is over decades upon decades of observations of what happens. My father's had his car stolen twice in 40 years.
For over a 40-year span
Yeah.
here, okay,
The first time he just left the keys in it and in the driveway. I mean, that was a freebie.
well,
So
Yeah.
I'm done.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Move to, close public comment.
okay, yeah, move to close public comment.
Second.
Move if you want to run it. Can I ask you an opinion? What is your speed limit recommendation, do you think?
My recommendation is that it vary. Because if not, it becomes a pattern that if they are in the area, if there are subjects in the area, that they're observing a pattern, or as the gentleman said, it's obvious. But, and as a matter of fact, we spoke about maybe even talking to them and the security guards, just to have a little bit of, a review or a training on some ideas and techniques on patrolling the area. Doubling back, maybe they hit the far corner 20 minutes ago and they want to get over there quickly and come back slowly. So my recommendation is, number one, always with the priority of pedestrians, and which could be out at any time. I mean, when I've worked the areas, I see people walking their dogs. So my recommendation is that it should vary, always with the priority being the safety of any pedestrians in the area. But different speeds, even stopping at a location for a moment, rolling down the windows, making sure the windows are down and you're not on the phone, because sometimes you might be able to hear them before you can see them.
Correct.
So those are all things that maybe we can get together. I'd be more than happy to stop by and chat with the guys, and review some of these ideas and some of these.
For the record, can you just state who you are? For the, no, no.
Detective Nieves, Miami-Dade PD assigned here to.
Perfect.
Then if I may ask you a second question, what is your view on the lighting? Your opinion?
The lighting, theories and opinions vary, but many times the lighting is a deterrent. It depends on the subject who's in the area
Yeah.
at any given moment. There are many times where subjects would say, oh, there's too much activity there, too much police activity, or too much security presence, and the lighting is a deterrent. Definitely they should not be driving without headlights on, so that's for sure, their headlights do have to be on. But normally it's a deterrent, but if they do decide to park with their lights off or to drive with them off, to have the windows down and to be alert in that sense, but my opinion is that it often deters.
Do you want to mention some of the things that you're putting together, maybe for the guardhouse, so that to assist?
Sure, absolutely. JP and I had been talking about providing a quick, like almost like a cheat sheet for the officers who were there with the helpful phone numbers, like easy access to them, as well as some ideas on suspicious activity to be looking out for. Since the last meeting, if you wanted me to mention this, with that particular incident and some other ones that other agencies have reported, the subjects were coming into neighborhoods with temporary tags, high-end vehicles and temporary tags attached. And so the guards were instructed to call police whenever a vehicle drove in. Of course, if it's a resident that they recognize and, but any visitor who drove in with a temporary tag. Dark tints and other indicators that would be somewhat suspicious. And so, those are instructions that were given to the guards and they were, doing that at the time. And then again, this cheat sheet, which, I'm going to review it and have some others, take a look at it as well to see if there's any more suggestions, but I put together a little bit of a cheat sheet for them. So they can take a look at it and, kind of see little things that they would be looking out for. Another area, another incident unrelated, but the security guard was, noticed something unusual, something suspicious. Sometimes we can't articulate it, and sometimes it's not something that is clearly visible, but it's something raises your suspicion, whether it's, somebody looks nervous or a detail, and, the security guard, at that moment, responded in a way that was helpful. So that's why we're hoping that this list will help them to also contact us for anything that they see that we might be interested in responding to.
Thank you.
Which is the reason I've been coming to these meetings, is to see if we can work on crime prevention. And I'm sorry, I don't have details on particular incidents that have happened, just maybe the ones that have been assigned to me. But with that purpose is, I wanted to join in, and I know that the last meeting we discussed the lighting at the guardhouse and some other things, some signage, so I don't know what else you would be bringing up regarding that.
I have a question. One of the residents complained that after they stole their car, they called the police. They haven't had any follow-up, but police haven't come back to follow up to say still haven't found it or something. Is that something that's not standard for them to do, or do they do? And I believe in your dad's case, the same thing. No one's
Yeah.
gone back to even. So that's a major complaint. They said, look, we're calling the police, but we're expecting some kind of interaction back.
Mhm.
And I don't need an answer now. It's just a complaint. That,
Sure.
that, maybe somebody reaching back to the resident and telling them that this is what we're doing. You're never gonna find your car again. Tough luck, whatever, something to be said back to them, but.
As far as I know, those are all assigned to me, and I believe I have spoken to everyone at least,
The one with the Bentley, she says that there's no one, what's her name? The one that owned the Bentley?
yes, I'm familiar with that case as well, and I did speak with them. I didn't speak with them right away, but I did speak with the gentleman.
Well, it was a lady. She says no one ever spoke to her.
Yeah, spoke to a gentleman involved with the.
I'll respond to her and tell her.
I don't know when
That was probably like 2 weeks ago.
that it occurred, or that
No,
you
no,
spoke
that
to
she,
her?
that.
Oh, that you spoke
complained
to her.
that-
okay.
Well,
The Bentley was
she put it in
taken
the group chat.
a while back.
Yeah.
Okay. The Bentley was taken-
No, she put that in the group chat 2 weeks ago, that they haven't even come back to me to tell me anything about the car or what's the
Okay, so
status
they're
or
saying
anything.
that they would like to have an update a certain amount of time after.
Follow up.
after.
I mean, we got I don't know. I get the
It's-
feeling that.
What's the typical protocol?
Normally, we make an initial contact, and if there are no further leads and nothing else occurring with the case, we have to move on to the next incident. We handle a lot of things. There's a lot going on. And as
I'm
far
sorry to
as,
interrupt you. I have a question. When you say there's a lot of stuff that you got going
That
on,
we
is
have.
it only in Miami Lakes or is it outside of Miami Lakes?
no, town of Miami Lakes, but I'm referring to, for example, hit and runs. We handle hit and runs, no injuries.
Within Miami Lakes.
Right. We're assigned incidents within Miami Lakes, but there are things like such as that we also handle as well, which thankfully are not property isn't being stolen and normally they're injured, but we do have to take care of those cases as well. And it is quite time consuming, processing court, training, meetings, and so normally, to answer your question, protocol is that we make an initial contact. And then beyond that, unless there is something new to offer or new information, we normally don't. But if the residents are requesting that a follow-up be provided later on. And they also have my contact information, so if they have any questions at all, they can reach out to me. But normally, once a case is determined that there are no more leads, we have to move on.
I think what we could do is I could do my best to follow up.
Yeah,
with
I
PD
think we're
and-
gonna have to do something, so that they can follow up with you, because I'm not doing a very good job of it. And one of the things I wanna iterate in his dad's case, if can you imagine? They're getting bolder and bolder, right? Can you imagine if he's coming into his garage and he
Yeah.
finds that kid in his house at that time? Two things would happen. Number one, possible could happen, right? One never knows, but you could have a dead kid, probably underage, and then a man that you destroyed his life because you just took somebody's life. I really think, I beg for you to talk to your superiors. They need to take, we're looking at this like it's, it's everywhere, We're an affluent community and we should fight back. And I think it needs to be taken a little more seriously. Not that you guys are not taking it seriously, but it has to be taken to like another level where people don't want to even tread. And it's not only our community, I think it's all of Miami Lakes. I keep on hounding that, and I told that to the major. They're getting bolder and bolder and bolder, and not everybody reacts the same. Not everybody just says, "Oh, okay, well, it's just a car or this or that." We don't need that. And if you need more officers, and we need to go into town and raise hell for them to put more staff and more, I recognize you got a lot of work. Maybe you need more staff, but we need to take it a little more seriously, because it's not gonna get easier, it's gonna get harder. And to me, for somebody to walk in somebody's house at broad daylight, I don't know, that sounds pretty, I don't know. God forbid my daughter or my son is there. Oh, it would not be pretty. And like I said, you destroyed two people's lives. I think an ounce of, what does they say, a ground of prevention is worth, whatever. I have some other things that I like.
Hey, Eugene, can I interrupt you? please?
Sure,
I want to open back up to public comment.
yes, you can respond or
If there's a
yes, yes.
second.
Second,
Okay.
There are some things that we can do to self-help in the neighborhood. For example, we should double gate the entrance and the exit. So that a car comes in, passes a gate, stops, another gate needs to open. And during that time, more photographing is happening.
wait, explain that a little bit better, so I understand.
We've all experienced it. It's not common where you go into a neighborhood and there's one gate that opens, and then you go into a waiting area, and then another gate opens and you proceed. At the very least, when you exit the neighborhood, if you put that in and you take the opportunity at that time to direct more cameras into the person and make them pause, it will discourage some of the car theft. It's very easy to take a car in the neighborhood and just drive out of the neighborhood, because the gate just opens as
that's
you
weird.
drive slowly. So
And another suggestion was made on your point was that right now, if a car comes up to the gate, it doesn't have like a time delay, a hold. And at that period of time, it's very similar to what you're saying. You just hold, let it take a picture of the car or the individual, and then open up. It could be a deterrent.
Well, that is what, our post orders with, SFM dictate.
But they don't open, are they the ones that open the gate?
Yeah,
To exit,
Yeah, yeah.
egress?
not to exit, to enter.
No, he's talking
Oh,
about.
you're talking about the exit.
He's talking about exiting.
Right.
The car just shows up and there's I guess
Sensor.
a
You know what?
relay or switch or something and
I
it
could talk to the technician.
to delay it.
See if there's a possibility that.
Now, there are gonna be complaints. The complaint's gonna be, the state takes forever, but I think that the answer could be it's a security.
the other thing that we can do is ask where you're going.
Well, I was gonna get to that. I'm gonna hit that one right now. Is there a way, and this you're gonna need a legal opinion.
Well, the legal opinion, we can ask.
Well,
Can't stop.
to make it as part of I'm gonna take it one step further. Because his father gave me an idea.
Okay, no, great.
He said, what's the possibility of asking for an ID? I know what your answer is gonna be, but we're gonna set this up in
I
motion.
can tell you that I have already been looking at it.
Okay,
I've been,
Not that they have to
opinion that
provide
I-
it.
The
it's
legal
just-
opinion that I've already gotten
Okay.
is no. It cannot be done. It's a public road. We're not supposed to prevent anybody from coming in.
Well, you're not preventing them.
You're
You're just
not,
asking them,
yeah,
can I see your ID? We would like to write down your license. And the guy goes, go pound sand. Okay, let them through. But when they do that,
There's the,
call them. call them.
Building on what the
Eugene.
gentleman is saying, Eugene is saying, doesn't every citizen have to have ID on them? I mean, I'm asking the question.
Well, if you're driving a car, you
No,
should
no,
have.
let's say they don't have the driver's license. Walking in, don't they? An average citizen in the US, don't we have to have ID on us? ID?
No.
So how do we prove who we are? Legally,
Honestly,
legal.
when I'm running, I don't have my ID.
I thought you needed ID, that's why I brought that up.
so just, I have been looking into it
Yeah.
and I'm by no means done researching. Because I have been looking at what other NSDs are doing. Across not only the city, but the state to see what other places are doing, how they're
Indian Creek,
doing
Indian Creek.
Yeah.
It's a village.
it.
They have their own police force.
Right,
You can't get cross unless you show ID.
right, and that.
But it's
that's
not a
possible here,
Why not?
because you just said you can't get across unless you show ID. We cannot stop anybody from going in.
No. I'm just.
We're not talking about stopping.
We're not stopping that. But what if, okay, so,
Exactly.
all right, so let's go for, if you can't, if they don't have ID, can you at least ask, where are you going?
I
Who are you here to
thought we
visit?
could ask where they're going
Right?
after
Who are
a
you here to
certain
visit?
time. Now, they can tell us whatever.
I
going,
will
We have to let them in, but at least that allows them to send.
give me some time to
And let me tell
review all these,
Let me show you where I'm going.
review all these options of what we can do.
Right.
The driver needs ID, so that person has ID.
Right, so if somebody doesn't have an ID, this is what I'm getting. at.
Right,
99% of the people, if you ask them, can I see your driver's license, please?
right,
Most people would, here's my driver's license, because they're trying to get in. You're gonna have 1% that, hey, it's my civil liberties, I don't want you to do anything. No, I'm not gonna show you my ID. And we could put a sign, we can even say a sign, you do not have to provide ID. Just to make it clear, but if they don't provide ID, their officers, SFM has probable cause to call the police, hey, there's a car driving here without ID, hey, there's an issue here. And now, they know that that's being asked, and I think you're gonna cut probably 90% of the incidents that can happen just by that simple thing.
Or follow them, Let
Well,
them-
we can follow them, right, but what I'm saying is, I call the police. You're.
Well, you're gonna get into stereotyping and, what is it called?
Yeah,
Profiling. Just have the guard follow them and drop them off, tail them till they're dropped off at the home. And then just, this is where the person went.
yeah, you do technically have the walkie-talkies where they could just instantly call them.
Right, call the rover, hey, I just called.
If I can back up, we are asking after a certain time, where are you going?
Are we or are we not?
Mm,
I don't think so.
no.
When did that fall off?
It's not, that's why I'm trying to see what we can possibly do that would be,
So we've always been under the impression, they at least asked. Now, you can tell us wherever, oh, I'm going to 300 West Street.
Or you could even
That doesn't
say,
exist.
I have no problem that they have the right to say, I don't need to tell you. All right, open the thing, call the other, hey, there's someone here. They don't want, we call it number 5 and number 4 or some number, and they tail them. And they can be watched, or I have no problem calling the police, because that's what I was told to do.
let's assume that we can do this.
Right.
I'd like your take on this, your guys' take, and I'd like your take on this. What do you think?
I'm sorry, I'm not
about
back
that? And again, I need to confirm all of this.
Of course, of course.
What would be your take? on
My understanding is what you have mentioned regarding the legality of keeping someone from entering the public.
Remember, we're not, very clear, we're not keeping them, and I don't have a problem putting a sign there. And you do not, the guard will ask you for ID, you do not have to provide.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm sorry?
I wouldn't say
Well, hold on a second, the reason you wouldn't say you neither would I, but I'm trying to get through a legal battle. Let the person say, I'm not gonna give it to you. Man, every time they call the police on you, every.
No, what I'm saying is that we shouldn't post a sign saying that you don't have to show it. You don't have to tell them that. Because then they see that, oh, I don't have to show it.
I think we're gonna get some resistance
Yeah.
on this, and I'm looking for ways that I'm not violating their rights, but I prefer your way. The other, and taking it one step further, what about persons walking, not just driving, walking in? Can the guard say, excuse me, where are you going?
Well, they are instructed to
That,
take
yeah.
pictures of of who comes in the same way that they would for the vehicles.
No, I'm saying like at 10 o'clock at night, I'm walking. You know, with juggling as I'm going into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Can they ask,
Oh,
where are you going?
Yeah.
They can, but my question is,
Yeah.
we would want that to happen. Because I think you're gonna get, as soon as they start knowing that, okay, you know what, they're starting to ask who's coming in. You cut a dramatic amount of need. So they're not gonna come in.
It's more the questioning, not preventing.
I'm sorry?
It's more like the questioning, but we're not preventing.
Exactly.
That's all.
Let them come in.
Yeah.
But we get to call the police if we want to, or we get to follow them if we want to. There's nothing wrong with that.
like I said, I've been kind of looking into other locations. There are, there's a lot of tricky things to this.
No, we understand.
Oh, I
So,
understand 100%.
We don't want to obviously violate anyone's legal rights. 9 times out of 10, most people that are coming in there, are not, are just visiting or whatever the case. It's that one person that one once in a blue moon person that comes in to, cause havoc. So
I have a
let me,
question. I
get
have,
back to you on
Right.
that. And I'm not gonna wait until the next meeting. I'll send you an email
that'd be,
sooner.
if you can send it to Patrick, he should be the point of companies. I mean, you can send it to me
I
anytime.
send it to the entire board.
Perfect,
usually, so, I will send it to the board and let me finish through the process of
Got it.
getting.
But we
gathering
like a
information.
legal opinion on that.
Yeah.
And if not, Patrick, I'll be honest with you. I think if the answer is no, we as a board might want to look at the hiring our own counsel. Because I don't think we're
We're not stopping anyone from coming in.
right, but what I'm saying is I would put it up to the town residents and we should spend some money to get our own legal opinion, not just on the town. Because it's just getting to the point where it's going around in circles and we're not doing something in.
Well, it should be consistent too, because if you think about it, Royal Oaks, I go there quite a bit. I show my ID and we probably know that there's been robberies there. Even with the person showing ID, right?
Or which part of Royal Oaks? Because I know parts of Royal Oaks. where you
Right
can't-
down
you
67, yeah, right down 67.
Yeah, but that's.
Miami Lakes right?
That's the one that's privately owned, right?
Yeah, that one, yeah, privately owned.
But we're not privately owned.
I know that, but I'm just saying that even if you show ID,
Oh, yeah.
things can still happen, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
but anyways, you're,
But you don't think
Yeah.
by asking for ID,
I
we.
I agree with you totally. I think those are great ideas. I think that we need to do something different. Something's gotta change.
I think you would really
Yeah.
cut a lot of the ones that we're getting.
Mhm.
Now, the one that's determined, they can jump over the fence, walk to somebody's house, steal a car and come out, right? There's 1,000 things they can do, but at least we can do something that doesn't cost anything. We don't hurt anybody. We're just asking.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem doing it all the time. I'm not just asking at 10 o'clock at night, all the time. Hey, these guys, and I think the thing about the time, it's more difficult for their guards because that's the protocol all the time. Excuse me, you don't have a sticker. Where are you going? Can I see your ID? No, okay. Man, they're following.
No, I agree with you.
The only issue with that is we're not dealing with dummies. These people that are stealing cars, they're getting through this process because
Yeah, they'll have a fake ID or.
staking the area and stuff like that, so there's a couple issues that I could see with this, just to give you an idea. Let's say they ask for ID, it's fake ID, our guards don't even think twice.
Mhm.
The next person comes in is a regular citizen, wanting to visit his friend, comes in without an ID, says he's not providing his ID. all of a sudden our guards are following this gentleman to the home while this other guy who gave his fake ID is just doing whatever he wants. And we don't have the vision or the sight to follow him and find
Yeah,
out.
no, John, I understand.
There's,
It's not perfect.
it's not a
It's not
perfect.
That's why my
it's
first
not
thing
a
was-
Perfect thing,
That's why my first thing was,
I-
call the police.
absolutely.
So the police come in, the rover keeps on doing his job, and the police are here. Now, when the police come in with the lights on, if I'm a criminal, I'm not gonna be there. But look, you're right. It's not a fall safe, what is it? Fail safe solution.
Mhm.
I think it's, when he told me, I was like, man, we're so stupid. We've never done this before. Let's see if we can do it. And we intend to push it as until somebody explains to me what law, what is it that we're breaking by doing that?
But I think it should be two things then, because to your point, right, they have a fake ID, it should be, show me your ID and where are you going?
No, if it's possible, I think you would have to do both.
Yeah.
But also, what is your opinion on contacting PD if someone says they're not gonna show their ID?
If it raises alarm or suspicion, then.
Doesn't matter. So
And
even,
if the security guard finds that the person is confrontational or suspicious or causing any trouble or possibly, we're limited, of course, in the action activity that we could take, because just because the security guard says, oh, I think that guy's driving without a license, I can't pull him over unless he commits a traffic infraction in front of me. But we'll be in the area, we'll be there, we'll arrive, they'll see our presence.
That's right.
Absolutely. If I
All
could
the time.
backtrack a little bit regarding the pedestrians, there's no reason that a security guard couldn't say, good afternoon, how you doing, to a pedestrian, and then observe that person's behavior, suspicious, call us. Most people are gonna say, hey, how you doing, whatever, and, walk right in, and maybe they'll recognize them, or maybe they'll say, yeah, I'm here to see my friend. I don't know how many pedestrians you have. There,
We get quite a few. I don't think they're counting them, but we get quite a few.
but that's not stopping them, that's just saying merely, hey, make a visual contact, make a verbal, contact with anybody who's coming in, make an attempt to. Backtracking a little bit, though, what concerns me about requesting a driver's license order is the location of your guardhouse at that location. The fact that it's on the passenger side, that always concerned me a little bit, and they would have to really, get down in there.
Yeah, our point is, how do you?
Because your guardhouse. is
yeah.
there.
Ultimately, there's nothing that we can do on that, and
Well, ultimately.
unless the
back on
guard
us.
goes all the way
No,
around.
we wouldn't make the guard go all, but I think, they have to lower the window, excuse me. Can I see your ID?
Yeah.
The other step is taking a photocopy of the ID. I think that's a problem, because now you're getting people's personal information.
Right.
But they don't want to give it, but if you just see there's an ID, I think it's just one step. The guard,
And we're not taking picture of the ID, we're
we're
not,
not doing anything like that.
And one of the reasons.
I
wanted to-
will, I'll. Absolutely.
One of the reasons I wanted to harp on the little cheat sheet thing is because we are, and that little square in the top left is very important to me.
I didn't
Because
give it
we are always concerned about the safety of security guards, because they're not, their radio only communicates to the other security guard, down the street, and they don't have the tool belt that we have with us, and so them reaching into a vehicle to retrieve we feel that they should also conduct themselves in a way that will keep them safe as well. And so.
Yeah, we don't want them to be
concerned
crazy.
about them.
I'll tell you,
too close to-
I would even care if they look at it from like where Patrick's at and I'm over here and they see an ID. I just want the question to be asked.
Right.
And then the tinted window, because,
They
What
have
you're
to bring
telling
the
us-
window down.
the high percentage is a tinted window involved. That tinted window has been rolled down now.
Mhm.
Three guys in the car, well, whatever. It looked like an ID, but that tinted window did come down.
What happens with the picture of the tag? Who knows about that?
Yes, through our very database.
Okay. I was hoping that it would automatically identify the car with the tag and, okay, it's not stolen, doesn't, but
That would be a license plate reader. There is no license plate reader at Loch Lomond.
And they wouldn't be able to have one. That has to come, that has to be tied to the Miami Police Department, I mean, the Metro-Dade Police Department.
There are, for the record, there are other neighborhood service districts. Miami Lake Section 1, for example, and Royal Oaks East and West, who voted to have it at their locations. So at their guardhouses, they do have it.
Yeah, why don't we do it?
Okay, hey,
One, would he have access? Could he know what time? Okay, so he said, hey, between 3 and 4
No,
yesterday.
license plate readers are for police use only. It's not public record. No one can,
His insurance that's gonna cover the car cannot get that information either.
correct. No, license plate readers does not go on anything public. It's only for police use. The way it essentially works, I mean, you could talk more about it. You'd be able to explain it better than I can.
The officers working would get an alert if a stolen vehicle drives through them.
Well, that would be one thing that I would think is advantageous to have. And the other thing is the guards practice would remain the same.
Mhm. Yep.
They still go back and take a.
so
photo of them,
the
keep a record.
LPR, we were told something, because I have a question for that.
Yeah, I apologize. That we are supposed to add, open up public comments if that's, oh, you did already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you did. You never closed.
What she-
I apologize.
Go ahead.
I was told by the commander that the LPR, if the city were to put the LPR, it costs like $30,000. If we do it, it's about $7,000.
To be fair, I'd have to get a quote specifically for it.
But if you get the quote, what I was told is if
Yeah.
you get the quote, they're gonna charge you more, and if we do it, it's about $7,000.
So do the criminals know what these things look like? Because for example, if they could, I haven't done this, but when they stole my car, until I didn't know it was gone, right, it was already too late, it happened overnight, they did what the crime, whatever they need to do, I didn't know it was gone until I woke up in the morning. They did their stuff wherever they went to, an LPR reader read it, oh, this is a decent car, it hasn't been reported or stolen or anything, until the next morning when I woke up, oh my God, my car's stolen, it was involved in a crime, too late, like, it didn't help any. And I don't know if that's the norm, but I'm sure that it helps you guys with a lot of things, but that, it's kind of, nothing is, you know.
No, nothing is
It's all
foolproof.
about layers.
Yeah,
Nothing is
exactly.
foolproof. You
Yeah.
can layer on the security and that works.
But going back, it was, the first concern was there was gonna be $30,000, then we would have to pay for that. And I think that the Loch Lomond board at that point in time, you know, why are we paying for something that's now, when I heard about that it's a lot less, that might be a different story, right? Because now,
I know when I bought in 21 years ago, they threw a big party, welcome party with the money that was in the association.
okay,
I'm sure that we can put better use to it.
Well, no one's gotten in a party from it.
No, it's been, I don't think I've seen another one after that, but.
Unfortunately, that's not.
Well, that's-
going on right now.
no, we're not voting, it's just,
So
Yeah.
let me ask
but-
you something based on what he brought up. So there are some residents that are interested. There are some that are not.
Mhm.
What is the proper protocol that this needs to take to facilitate whatever budget it is? Let's just say it's 15 grand, get those up. I think the last time I was spoken to,
Yeah.
I needed 2, and they were whatever, it came to about 15 grand. But my understanding is this needs to go to a vote to every house.
So the way the process was approved was you have the decision to make on anything that is a capital improvement. Adding an LPR would be a capital improvement.
So if
So
we
you
wanted
would-
to.
if we had
wanted to
quorum
add-
today, we wanted it.
If you had quorum today and you decided to vote to add a LPRs, or for me to go get a quote for LPRs, then I would go ahead and do so. Let's say hypothetically, we had quorum today, you approved to get an LPR. This would go to the council. Council would decide to move forward with it or not. If they move forward with it, then it goes back to the entire community for a vote. Now, the voting process has not been decided on yet as to how that's gonna work.
Okay.
But
Because it also piggybacks on, I like his idea that he brought up about the 2 arms to the exit. Okay, great, but what is my protocol?
Okay, but that goes on to say, I thought you just said on a capital improvement, we can vote for it. and it gets done.
No.
Oh,
That sounds like the taxing district process.
Think of your process that you guys have always had. What is your process for any capital improvement? It was always you, the board, decide on something, you vote for it, and it gets approved, right? Now,
it gets approved by whom?
it gets approved by you,
The
you,
board.
you, the board.
Okay,
And that was the final decision, or depending on the cost of the thing, it would go to council. Now, any capital improvement over 1 cent needs to go to council. And then if they approve it, then it goes to a vote by the community.
By
And
the
that was
residents?
voted by the resident.
Okay,
And you need 100%.
Well, no, we don't know how the voting process is gonna take place yet. So, it has not been finalized, by council.
oh, this is a recent change.
That you and I, that we spoke
Yes,
to,
yes,
we
yes,
spoke
yes,
about
the
here.
lady from the west side, the one, Rano was the one that brought that up.
Right, and it was
I
voted on by
remember
the people, and they voted. yes
Gotcha,
on it.
gotcha, because they were, I understand now, yes.
Okay, so yeah, so I don't have that information as far as, would it be 100%, would it be 30%, none of that has been decided yet. Once we have that information, obviously, we'll share it with you also.
Now, you see where we're getting stuck here, right? There's a lot of process, man. Everything's a process.
we don't know how it's going to be.
We.
The other thing is there a cost to having that vote? And who pays that?
That's
cost?
also has not been decided because we don't know how the voting process is gonna take. It's gonna be a ballot, is it gonna be through
Survey monkey.
Survey Monkey, whatever it is, because ultimately it's a vote, but it's more like once it goes through that voting process, it goes back to the council for a final vote. So, and then the council, the council is basically taking the information of the entire community and to make their decisions. That's how
And
it
then our
works.
taxing district pays for that line.
Correct.
And to privatize the streets, you need 100% approval from all the homeowners, I've been told in the past, is that true?
What you're referring to is to privatize your entire
Yeah, the
street.
streets, and you can stop people,
I don't have that information
I
for you.
think it's 2/3.
I think it's 100.
Well, it could be, but trust me, the city would give it up in like that.
No, our property value will go up
I
significantly.
enjoy working
crime
with you
would
guys.
drop.
I know, I'm just, not you, I'm talking about the councils. Hang out with you. And by the way, you got 5 roads you gotta fix and everything starts wanting to get fixed.
That double the city.
Yeah, I don't have that information for you. I'm not really familiar. I don't know how I'd have to look into, the process, cause that's a public road of Miami-Dade County. So,
I heard, something else to piggyback on what you said is that there's a way. Like everything from the asphalt on up gets purchased by the community, but water and sewer drainage and that stuff would stay with with the city. That's what we're looking at, not like a regular, because in a lot of these places, even the water and sewer, everything is part of the community. Everything else stays with Miami-Dade County, but we will be responsible for our sidewalks, asphalt, paving, road, stop signs, that kind of stuff. That will go back on us, but everything below ground stays with the city.
I know a little bit of it, which I have to follow up and find out and gather more info, but I know that basically you'd have to fill out an application process with Miami-Dade County that you want to prioritize your road. And you'd have to get a certain amount of signatures.
I think our homeowners probably requires 100, it's ridiculous, 100%. We've been down this road, there was a murder in 1990 something. Granada, Lee Granada,
Yeah, on Glen Eagle.
Glen Eagle, 2 doors from my house, my father's old house.
Cross street from my house,
Oh, you're on the corner, Black Dog?
on the corner of Glen Eagle.
Now I know exactly who you are. Did you have a, yeah, Black Dog, no,
That's me.
yeah.
So, I don't know, we're still on this, we didn't get to hear from SFM, on what we're discussing, these ideas and what you guys think.
So, a few things. The fact that we're asking to see their IDs without documenting them, meaning taking a picture. And we're asking where they're going without documenting where they're going. to me, is something that whoever is casing the neighborhood is going to identify pretty quickly. That is basically information that is not being kept anywhere. Meaning, I can just show any ID, or I can give them any address, and it's just gonna become information that they can never use against you, or they can never use to follow you. I think that whoever is doing this is not entirely a crime of opportunity, meaning we drive in and we see what's available and we take it. I think that they are studying certain features of the neighborhood. And I think that they see what our officers are seeing. And we are frequently seeing garages that are open, and construction in the area, and activity that may call for people that don't necessarily belong just to be there. And so they take advantage of those weaknesses. So our effort to deter, which is what I think you're driving to, I think needs to be allowed for us to document the information. So they know, you know, show me your ID and I'll see your ID and I'll see your face and I see if it matches and I'll take a picture of it. I may even ask you where you're going and perhaps call that resident and ask them if they're expecting that visit. I think that's the true deter.
Yeah, but we can't do that. Because
Well,
we don't own the.
I'm just giving you what I had seen in my experience to work, because you're tightening the screws, so to speak.
Right.
You're making it a lot more challenging for people to enter your community and try to do something. The fact that you're living in this sort of hybrid environment where you're in public, but you want to enforce it as if it was private, is what I believe is creating this confusion and these challenges. I think that you are either private or you're public. And if you're private, then you set your rules within certain boundaries, of course. And if you're public, unfortunately, you're limited.
Well, then that would be the case, then you're making the case that maybe we don't need a security guard.
Maybe that is the case.
Right.
And again, I'm being
No, I'm
very,
just telling you, I mean,
I'm
we're
being
paying
very,
for
I'm being very
something that
candid.
maybe we don't, you know, if we're paying money for it. And if what we're saying is there's no deterrent in doing it, why do we have?
Under your ordinance, you need to have a gate,
No, I know, but
Yeah.
the ordinance can be changed, right? We could get a vote of everybody says, look, we're paying for this money and it's not panning out. They're still stealing cars, they're still doing whatever. At least get a break in your, I'm not an advocate of that, but if we go down the route that, to me, I think, yeah, I wish I can go in there and tail case them and do 20 different things, but I have to work with the limits of what I have. I think that if you ask the person for an ID, lower the window, it's one more step that they have to go through to make it a little bit harder for them to.
I don't dispute that. I just think
It's
that,
not optimum, but
I just think that whoever is casing your neighborhood is gonna figure that out eventually.
Yeah, it must, I don't know the laws on IDs and stuff like that, but you know, when you go to the hospital, like when I go to Memorial, they take my ID, take a picture, then they give me the sticker. They do it at Palmetto too.
they own the hospital. That's their hospital, their property. It's tricky, but I'll tell you, you say that. But your cars were stolen, you think they were casing it? I think we're under a crime wave, man. I think.
I think that in our
Miami is under
case-
Siege, because they see that Miami Lakes police are. Not as strong as other areas, and they're coming in with a vengeance.
Well,
That's why I think we're victims of.
I think that in the case of our officer, the vehicle was stolen because the parking location, from the information that I have received, is dark and kind of away from their line of sight. They cannot see where the cars are parked. So effectively, whoever sees that this is happening just has an understanding that the car owner is not there and not even close. So they were not, they're not gonna be able to see that their car is being stolen. That's, one factor. I think that, we are under a crime wave, and I believe Detective Nieves, in one of the previous meetings, indicated that the way they're doing this is that they're hitting a neighborhood for maybe 1 or 2 days, and then they're moving on to another neighborhood, and they know that they can come back to that neighborhood after several months where your alert level has already gone down, and you start not to relax, but to go back to your normal way of doing business. And then they'll hit you back. And I mean, the engineers can correct me, but I think that that's how they work. They are operating on multiple neighborhoods, and they eventually will come back.
They always have.
So we asked-
Nothing really happens to them anyways. They already know the system. They steal the car, they go to a different county. Nobody finds them, nobody follows up with them. So every day, to your point, they're getting more brazen and more brazen. So that's why by you saying, let's just add all these extra layers as a deterrent. I think 100% that's gonna work, because you start asking, hey, let me see an ID. Hey, there's a license plate reader.
It's more of
Hey,
a pain for them.
it is a pain, so now you'll be able to positively identify these people because you have their information. Definitely, if you ask for the information, the data, you need to have a record of it, because why ask for something if you can't write it down? That doesn't make sense. And then now, in our day and age, the police can use this data to really try to identify them. They can't just say, okay, well, the car was stolen and we have no leads. Well, case closed. Well, that's why this continues to happen. So like you said, that they have to be more aggressive. They have to have this information, and the more stuff we can give to them, the better off we are to be able to find them and stop what's going on, because it's a free for all, really. They just come in and steal a Bentley today, steal a BMW tomorrow, break into a house today. Like, what's next? Home invasion? We're not that far away, honestly, from that. They're already walking into the garage in the middle of the day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
I just want to be clear. Just if we're not able to do this, if we get a legal opinion that says this isn't legal, that doesn't mean there's not other deterrents that we can add
Of course,
to make other things work.
yeah, I have
For
another,
example, I have off the top of my head, what if we had a guard on the other side? On the exit?
I have
Pictures
two,
on the other.
I have two
You
more
understand
to
what I'm
add,
saying? Like, there's other things that can be done.
I have two more to add.
Yeah.
The next one is, the possibility of having right now, the way that it reads is we have 2 security guards. One that's at the guardhouse and one that's a rogue, requiring between the time of 10 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning, that second rover, instead of them hiring one of their officers, that they hire a Miami-Dade police officer to be that rover under their contract.
Oh, we used to have that night.
I'm sorry?
I mean, you lived there long enough. Do you
The-
remember when we used to have the
the-
officer that was at the end of the block? They used to get police
So the
officers.
problem I see with that is, are you talking all day?
No,
No,
That's the problem. See, what we've been seeing, the highest points of crime is not at night.
no,
During the
I
day.
understand that. I understand that, but what I'm saying is, what would be if the residents, we would have to vote on this anyways, right?
Right.
But it could be 24-hour, but that the rover be instead of one of their officers.
No, not necessarily. That's something that you guys have to vote on. But I don't know if that would.
No,
be
because they have a
considered
contract. Their contract is for 2. But what we're saying is, I don't want to be responsible.
You're amending their contract. That's all you're doing.
That, what are the possibilities of us amending their contract? And obviously, they would have to get a markup for that too, right? They would have to contract with Miami-Dade police officer. It's so many dollars an hour, and then they would charge us a premium for that because they have to manage that.
Right.
And it goes under their instead of having one of their officers, now we have an armed police officer in a police patrol, but it's under their contract, and they get to charge us for that. It'll be more expensive, but it all gets handled under their contract.
okay, look at the different options. Let's just
See,
go
that's
step
a
by
pretty-
step.
That's
Step
a
by
pretty
step.
innovative idea to get around a lot of stuff.
I'd have to look into it. I'll have to confirm.
And I don't know if you guys would like that, but I mean, you get to release one of your guys and you get to hire a Miami-Dade police officer
Yeah.
under your contract.
How is that different?
I mean,
from
but
hiring
they would
somebody
be-
detail?
Okay,
They would be a Miami-Dade, I mean, when they're doing this, they're an SFM employee, they're not a Miami-Dade police officer.
that is correct. Well, they're, whatever,
They
however
have-
it
they would-
works,
they
it's
would have
not
to
under
be-
Miami Lakes thing. They could be a state trooper if you want to. I prefer to be Miami-Dade police officer because, you know, they can communicate easier, right? So,
I'd have to look into it.
Yeah.
I don't wanna give you any false
They don't-
information.
You don't even have to be in a car. We have two in Miami Lakes training for the Tour de France.
mhm.
What do they do?
The
It's
ones
a
that
serious
ride bikes.
question. What do they do?
I think they, look, I think that they do. I think the problem is they don't have enough officers. And look, they have, I don't know, if this should be put in public, but they have two on the east, two in the center and two on the west. And then when something happens where they need more than two officers, they pull one from either area, they go and they supply that area, or they'll call reinforcements.
bicycle ones?
I'm sorry?
The guys on bikes?
The guys on bikes are, they're just going around to be more visible, right? They're
Those
not,
guys in the neighborhood would be effective. Because they're
oh,
stealth.
having guys on a bike, you mean, during the day?
The policemen that you're referring to,
Yeah.
the bike, having them on the bike, that's effective in a tight neighborhood.
Oh, we can always modify that during the day, from this hour to this hour, they can be on a bike, but they do it through their contract. It's too difficult for us to do it ourselves. And it's too difficult to do it under the town because it requires, but we could do it under their contract. And we pay for that contract. It's gonna be an extra cost for us. But I feel better at night knowing that there's a police officer and I have his number. When I call SFM, I'm calling an actual police officer, not just a security guard. That, no offense to the security guard, but there is a difference between a police officer and a security guard. Just an idea.
I'd have to look into it because there's certain amendments that you could do, but what you're saying is have somebody from Miami-Dade Police under their contract.
It doesn't have to be
Not be an
Miami-Dade police.
employee of SFM. I don't know how that would work.
Well,
I have
they
to
can be
verify.
my employee. Cause if I hired, if Patrick and
I hear what you're saying.
Patrick and I decided that we're gonna split the cost of a cop between midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning. He pays the first 3 hours, I pay the next 3 hours. Nothing is, if I had a club, I can do the same thing, right? A detail, one guy just going around, or gal.
We do have another meeting coming up at 7:30. I don't know.
Have one
We
more.
some few things.
The other possibility is to making the guard gate 100% electronic. Adding a more sophisticated guard gate where everything is done, entrance is done electronic, the photos are done electronic. And we can have the two guards just roving around.
That would require a change to the ordinance.
Okay, well.
That would
I like an
require-
opinion on those, if possible.
That I can give you the legal opinion on that. That would require a change to the ordinance. So we would have to go about the entire process of changing the ordinance the same way that when you first created the
So that one's a
the
no.
town. I mean, like I said, nothing's a no-go.
Right, but a no-go to the point that you have
Right.
to change the whole thing,
Right.
but not the other one of having you would have to research that one.
I'd have to research.
Okay, I like to find out about that one, I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very helpful, keys out of the vehicle, so that's a great majority of the incidents, keys have to be removed from the vehicle. You leave the vehicle unlocked with the key inside. It's the majority of the incidents that we're having. And 3054 police, when you say, oh, I'm calling the security guard, definitely, maybe if there's two of you in the home, or have someone call the security guard, but someone should always be calling 3054 police.
We tell them all the time,
Non-emergency.
call the police.
Individual, yeah, resident individual, because whoever's witnessing whatever you see, you can provide us with more details. And so we are more than happy to respond to, non-emergency incidents on.
I have one last thing, you know, mine, so, as you mentioned something, I think it was the other meeting regarding, having some kind of a flyer pamphlet or kind of like, reminders of like the things that you guys see that perhaps they're kind of common sense things, but folks may just forget, like you just said, don't leave the key in your car, make sure your house is well lit, close your garage, do this, do that, other things that maybe we may just overlook because we're so busy. Is there something that we can get like that so we can just send to all the residents?
Your public safety committee,
Yep.
The town's public safety committee, I've been working with them, and they're putting together safety tips,
Okay.
little things.
Yep.
And we're going to be reaching out to all of the HOAs.
Okay,
and on your chat so that you can blast them. There's something called hashtag 9 p.m. routine, which is every night at 9 p.m. As you lock your home, your garage, make sure that your key is out of your vehicle, little details like that. So absolutely, we're working on that, and the public safety committee is generating something with the help of the town staff. And there's public service announcements that are gonna be on their website. And you'll be able to get them from there as well. But I think your chats are very helpful when they're nice, when the people make nice.
Nice, you're right.
Helpful comments.
They're not always
You know,
nice.
yes, they're not nice, so,
Oh, Patrick, you just took it over.
but yeah, so, we'll be sure to blast
Okay.
that.
I think that's gonna be helpful. Okay, good, that's it for me. All right.
Hey, quick question before we adjourn. Any awning update?
Well, let's go through, the next item, landscaping update. As you know, plant orders have been changed, they're Pentas, and they'll be changing in June.
All right, how about the bushes?
The bushes,
Do they have a plan of action anyway?
let me go ahead and follow up with
Okay.
our vendor on that, on the bushes.
And we can put desert plans so that.
John is gonna break, right? He
Well, we might be-
he
talk
was
about-
so happy to tell us about the flowers and
Let's skip
everything.
over it. I guess you want your bragging rights then.
Not the bragging rights, it's just, it's on the,
Oh,
yeah,
the
cheating, man.
Well, it's
You
good.
put it there.
Awning update.
Awning update, so I got some quotes,
Okay, I mean, we can't vote on it tonight.
I have it, yeah, we can't vote on it, I have,
Hands are moving
an
forward.
image of what it would more or less.
Okay, there, I see it
An
now.
idea of what it would look like, one of the different options that was given to me, that's what one of them would look like. At least, and I have some quotes. I have two quotes here and I have to email you the other.
Okay,
So, yeah.
This
so
is,
These are two separate companies, one is National Awnings,
is there like?
the other one is Awnings,
Okay, gotcha.
Universal, and then the last one is Miami Awning.
okay,
So
great.
those are the three quotes that I was able to get. You're more than welcome to take it with you. We can't vote on anything today, but you can at least take a look at it and then maybe next meeting we could.
Right.
Where's the
bring it
other
up
one?
again.
I only see one.
Right here, tell me.
So one is $9,000.
Right, one is 9,000 and then the second one
Is. Well, it's not,
for you guys would be $1,795.
wow, that's a big difference.
That is a big difference.
Let me see this one. The winner is,
This is, mind you, I'm giving it to you, it's all guardhouse locations, because you're not the only ones that are working. Right,
okay,
so it's itemized.
Got it.
okay,
So for you all, you'd be looking at 1,300.
okay.
So 1,300 versus 1,700.
Have you worked with any of these before?
Never,
Okay.
never. And then the last one is. I will give it for you tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I know you were gonna put on here, and of course, you didn't vote on that either, was somehow maybe adding some fencing to our garbage.
I didn't add it, because I was gonna bring it up to vote to add it to the,
Yeah, hey,
but I didn't get it brought up, but since you brought it up, yeah, I was gonna mention.
we'd love to see it, but I guess.
Maybe maybe putting a fence around where the trash area is behind the guardhouse.
Right,
If that's something, maybe, next week.
okay.
So vote to close public comment and vote to adjourn.
Thank you.
All right.
And is there a second?
Second.
Right. What time is it?
It's 7:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Talk to you again.
Yeah, yeah.
Anytime I'm jogging or with my dog, I said, I'll talk to you.
We got some questions.
Legal.
How you doing? Yeah.
I can give it.
All right, Chairman, we're ready to begin. Okay, so it's 7:36 PM and we're gonna go ahead and do a roll call. On this meeting closed. 7:36. Roll call, Robert Sosa. Here. Jorge Herrera. William Garcia. Here. Luis Rodriguez. Irene.
Here.
Barbie.
Here.
Bill.
Here.
Romero here, so we do have a quorum. So order of business, you guys know how this works already. If we want to move anything, now's the time to do it, so we don't have to go back and open the item and vote on it. So let's take about 2 minutes to see the list. If we want to move anything, we'll go ahead and do it now.
I'd like to add an item to the agenda.
Okay,
Preliminary talk on the budget,
now that will be on new business,
new
right?
businesses.
We. Preliminary budget.
We're gonna cover the agenda, no? What we're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
You wanna add or delete, move something up, that's, well, that's actually Anibal that was supposed to be here, he's not. He's got an eye infection, Manny has issues with his knee, and Nelson couldn't find the babysitter, so. Barbie. Can you help us with the minutes today?
Yep, I'm working on it.
Thank you.
Oh, 2 steps ahead.
Thanks. We do have that. So if there's anything else, then let's go ahead and, I think William wants to add, on new business at item E, preliminary budget discussion. So want to make a motion to go ahead and put that. Anybody second that motion?
Okay.
Bill, everybody in favor? Aye.
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Preliminary budget, discussion.
I will,
Okay, so motion passes.
I will, I mean, yeah, it was me. not-
I'm sorry, it was yours.
The storage. Seconded by Bill. Didn't want to interrupt you.
No.
Sixth Street.
Been a long time. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to public comments then. So. Yes,
I'd like to reserve my public comments for the end instead of now, because I want to hear what you have to say. Is that possible?
no, that will have to be a motion made by one of us. And I don't know if you guys, we've never done it, it's always been
Money
right
for a
after the
motion?
roll
No,
call.
I would like to do a motion to have her speak at the end because she wants to put,
See
contribute
what you
something.
say, but then.
you know.
I see your point.
Can I just add number? We only have an hour and a half.
I only get 3 minutes.
Yeah. If we get to that point, we might not be able to have public comment.
That's usually why we have it up.
But if you speak to people, we've already made the decision.
Well, okay.
If you could please state your name, and you have 3 minutes, to speak. And your address.
Lydia Hernandez, 7941 Northwest, 166th Street. I want to make 2 comments on, items in the new business. Regarding the guard gates and the ordinance that's talking about, we have to have, guards 365 days, 24 hours. I think we've had this in the last 2 meetings, this discussion, but right now we went through the guard gates. The arms are up and everybody's having dinner, and we don't want that. That's like welcoming somebody to crime. So we wanted to understand why that ordinance is not being, followed. I think that's, should be illegal, not sure. Lorenzo's here to comment. And my other comment has to do with something that I found very upsetting. Here we are, Maricela and I, coming to these meetings, trying to get those guard gates to really work as guard gates and not welcoming committees. And then all of a sudden, we get a letter that's sent to the council by the association. So you did nothing all these years, and now you want to write a letter and complain about what's going on? When we've been working on getting it to work right, I think that was unfair. Unfair to John Paul, who's been killing himself because not before him, nobody did anything else. And I think it was very unfair for the association to to print a letter and send it to the council and to all of us in an email blast. When we've been doing all our work and now you take credit for that letter and getting everything upset when John Paul has been killing himself to getting things done, I object to that and I didn't think that was fair. Do I have any more time?
You have 1 minute and 15 seconds.
I'm done. I think I said what I needed to say.
Thank you, Lee. Anyone else? Public comments? Sam? Nothing? Okay, so let's move on then. So let's go to all business, approval of minutes. So I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the minutes from February meeting.
I'll second.
Motion seconds, everybody in favor? Motion passes approved. Security guard services, updates and reports.
Would you like to go ahead and take this one, John?
Yes. So,
Let's-
reports were submitted to JP regarding first quarter of 2024. Showcasing the activity on all 4 guardhouses. We have seen an increase in March in the number of vehicles going through post 11 in detriment to post 12. We believe that's because of construction work. So the number of vehicles entering post 11 has increased by about 10,000. And the number of vehicles going through post 11 has decreased by about 5,000 or 6,000. The other 2 guardhouses remain stable as far as the number of vehicles. And we continue performing the community patrols as well as the supervisor visits. And I have not seen any major change as far as activities. We're now starting to provide JP also with lighting reports to indicate those light fixtures in the guardhouses that are not operating. So eventually, whenever you see the guardhouse being dark or any area that is not well lit, JP will be receiving reports now on a consistent weekly basis detailing all those light fixtures that are not working. Do we have anything else?
No, sir.
Walkie-talkies.
We have also implemented for all guardhouses radios that are communicating with our SOC, and our SOC is operational 24/7, and they're also communicating with each other. What we're doing the reason why this was implemented was twofold. Number one, if they need to communicate with us, then the phone is no longer available to take pictures and to document the vehicles coming in. And second, the fact that the radios are pushed to talk allows them to communicate with us more efficiently. So there's now a second way of communicating, which is through the radios. So that is also that has also been implemented recently. That's all I have.
We will have the radios besides the guards at the gate.
So it's gonna be the 6, the 6 guardhouses for Town of Miami Lakes, the rover that we have at Loch Lomond, and our security operations center that operates 24/7.
Thank you, John. We're gonna move to item C, awnings update.
So after our last meeting, I got some quotes. I got 3 quotes. Here are 2 of them. I have to email you the other one, and I'll email after this meeting. I'll email all 3 quotes, but I'll pass it along around so you guys can take a look at the option. It is itemized, the quotes. It's technically it's been, you guys aren't the only ones that requested for quotes. So I got quotes for all of the guardhouses, and that one's itemized for each one. Your locations in particular would be these 4, because there's 4 guardhouses for you, and then here it's already itemized by Royal Oaks East for
West, Rollins West.
Yeah.
If one. Sure, or new design or depends the dimension, if you were involved in.
No, I will
What
not.
is, do they, the projection of the awnings, do they lend themselves to potential damage from vehicles, trucks?
No, so the awnings that I requested would be 2 feet. It would be lined up with the sidewalk to the guardhouse. So it wouldn't pass into the street. So there should not be any issues as far as any vehicles hitting it, because it's not passing the guardhouse area. Additionally, they are to not block the 2 cameras, the LPR cameras and the cameras for SFM, so.
Do we need to pull permits and
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
second
install
packet.
An engineer.
yeah, sharpeners?
Now, these awnings are located where the guard would be standing.
Correct, so it
They
would,
stand back further, so.
it would only be 2 feet from the
In front of the-
doorway. So, in other words, it would protect them, it would protect some amount of light from going into the guardhouse. They protect the guard from sun when they're underneath there as well. And also when it rains, it would allow them to come out a little bit more rather than being inside the doorway. They'd be able to take a picture.
It's 2 feet by how much, almost?
I believe it was 2 feet out, and then it would be, yeah,
6 feet. The door is about 6 feet.
more or less.
They including the permitting and all that from these fees and flags.
I would have to double check.
I don't think so.
I think on that one is addition.
Yeah, that says addition, $1,800 per guardhouse.
Well, this one is 39.8 for 4. And this one is 48.
No, read down. There's a line where they talk about permits and stuff, $1,800. That's for each, more than just Royal Oaks, now, but each location.
Yeah, that would be that.
1,800 each
Yeah,
or
that's,
for-
that's,
Each location.
But each location of each awning or
Guardhouse, yeah.
each guardhouse?
That's extremely high because
Engineer drawings.
they have to understand and look at the fact that this will become like a sort of like a cookie cutter. So once you design what, all you have to do is just change the site plan, but the engineering calculation will be the same.
right. The permitting would go through us, so.
Right.
Through the town.
Yeah, the fees, but not the plans itself.
Right.
With the calculations. And this guy, the $4,800 is including the plan, because I don't see anything in there. I don't think he has it. So this cost us a lot more to do the plans than the awning itself. $995 versus $1,800. That doesn't make any sense. At all.
Yeah. A lot of stuff is pretty
Those
engineered.
fees are super high.
Or that's about 2,800 per guardhouse.
Well, they're saying 1,800 each location.
Yeah,
So
plus another 1,000 is 28 per
Plus,
guardhouse.
plus the awning.
right,
I can.
you have to ask them.
Yeah, and I, as mentioned before, I have a third quote that I have to send to you
Okay.
via email. I'll send it along with all of them together, so you have them. And, I could go ahead and follow up and verify the permitting, cost.
And it will take 6 to 8.
Because maybe that was a typo, maybe it says each, but maybe it was
Yeah.
1,800.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That will make more sense.
Yeah,
That sounds
So the whole thing makes a lot of more
A
sense.
lot of this stuff is pre-engineered.
Right.
It's all ready to go.
Well, we gotta wait anyway till we get the bid. So I guess another next week.
Pick the color. You want that?
No.
That's important.
Yeah.
We could be able to go work these up.
What's that?
We'll bring it. Maybe some samples, and then next time if they can give us.
I will email them to you along with, I do have the different sample, I'll probably have to send you 3 separate emails.
Right.
So that you tell the difference between the different sample colors, because they are different.
When we do this with the canopies, do we have to go, since we have Lorenzo here? And we had some issues clarifying that last time, John, remember, if it was a capital improvement, when does it have to go to a vote? So everybody, the whole neighborhood can vote on it. Is this one of those items where we're gonna fall under that category that,
Capital improvements, I think, by ordinance, was capped at improvements that are above a certain amount.
Anything over
Wanna
1
say-
cent.
Was it?
Yeah, anything over 1
The
cent.
council changed the rules.
That was anything over 10,000.
no, that changed, remember, that was the day that Marilyn, I don't think you were there that night, Marilyn and Lewis started playing with the numbers and changing that because District 1 had an issue with the lighting, with the Christmas lighting that was paid by the NSD and should have been paid by the HOA.
I remember that.
And that's when they decided, which I oppose that, because then if we gotta vote for everything that we gotta do, this committee makes no sense anymore.
Okay, so the question is whether you would need whether that would need to go to a vote of the people,
Right. Mail out. The mail out.
because you're doing an improvement to the guard gate.
Right. And I think the way that they wrote the,
Well, what you could do tonight, if you want to make a vote, is you could vote on it, subject to it being within your legal ability to do that, and they give you just time to check and find. If it is, yes, then you move forward. If it's not, then we gotta go in a different direction. You can do that.
we could do that, or we could table this until we get I will table it and get the next proposal and then.
I'll
get
tell you,
clarification.
The idea is that you don't waste your time today, and if it's an idea that all of you want to move forward on, you can, subject to confirmation that it's legally proven to do so.
That's a good idea too, because we do want to go ahead and install this. I think it's needed, we all think it's needed. So we could take a vote based on that.
Can't you put a 10,000 cap again?
We'll have to go back to the council.
Same thing, they have to take it to the vote, Lakeland Allen and Loch Lomond.
Everybody's looking at the same ordinance, I just don't know that everything, the same rules being applied uniformly, so that's why I would say.
I don't know if it went to the second reading. I know it had to go to 2 readings.
That's right. I
don't think it went to the second reading.
I don't believe so, so go ahead and pass it, then if it's something that's questionable, I'll come back to you.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought it was
because
the third quote, and I thought there was a difference between capital improvement and maintenance, kind of, or maintaining the integrity of the guardhouses.
And that's it, that's another thing,
them.
that,
I
that's
mean,
another
air
question.
conditioner breaks, you have to go to a vote.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a.
My mind's a little fuzzy on it right now, but I believe that
There was a difference.
no, just about everything. Now,
we
consider
went
capital
over this, not last meeting, but the one prior to that.
Yeah, the one prior to
Last
that.
year.
If I could go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
That's okay. This is directly from the minutes from the September meeting.
September when, 20?
September 2023, yes. The motion was to cap reserves of all special tax districts at no more than 10% of their annual budget. And then the second is to require feedback from the community by way of a straw ballot or any other mechanism staff sees fit for any capital improvements to be added to the special taxing districts, excluding repairs and maintenance of items that already exist or replacement of damaged items that already exist. The third is a requirement. The third is a requirement of straw ballot or community feedback for any expenditure that exceeds more than 10% of the special.
That was 10,000 or 10,000. It was 10%.
That was 10 something.
It was 10.
The 10 was there.
Right, so it's capital improvements,
Yeah.
any capital improvements, and also anything that is over 10%.
So anything that's over 10%.
Well, no, it's 3 motions.
Well, it's
It's three motions. The second motion
Improvements. that
is
don't already
any capital
exist, that already
improvements
exist.
Which this one does not.
Which-
must go to straw ballot.
Right.
And
Moving
then
on.
anything at all,
Change it back.
overall, over 10% has to go to straw ballot. So that includes repairs,
No, oh yeah, repairs over 10%,
right?
but not repair to something that would be less than 10%.
Correct.
You don't need it.
Percent of what? Can I ask?
Overall.
Overall budget?
Yeah, total budget. So, we do the board targets.
What's the total budget?
Last year, like 400, something like that.
That's 40 grand.
Divided by 4, somebody have one,
That's kind of piece, yeah.
that at least.
What would be the two sections, right?
East and west.
East and west.
That's why the east is a little more in taxes than west. So do we want to go ahead and take a vote? And based on council advice, we will. I don't think we already know what it is, but now he's gonna come back to us and make sure that you went to the second read. Because I think you only went to the first read.
But what are we voting now? Because we don't have the.
We don't have the third.
We don't have the third quarter.
Well, let's table this. Let's table. Make a motion to table item C on the agenda. Second. Business, second. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll table this until next week. So maintenance of guardhouses. Item D. Jacob. Maintenance of the guardhouses.
Maintenance is taking place as usual. We are always trying to look for improvements on how to improve the overall quality. And so one of the things that as John had mentioned earlier is I'm getting weekly reports on from the guards on the state of things inside the guardhouse, the lights, bathrooms, everything. If there's anything that needs to be picked up, if there's any trash or anything, that it's more. I think that's separate.
Study what this part of the emotions in there.
So you're saying nothing's changed?
I don't think so.
I
So
think
the
you might
second-
wanna, I think we might wanna revisit this and we can talk about it more tomorrow.
Yeah, but
That's the main motion.
this was the amendment to the main motion, referred to the guardian houses.
I don't think you ever made it to the second reading,
I don't think it passed.
or you didn't pass.
So, I mean, I don't wanna make a decision on it tonight, I'd like to have a chance to talk to JP because I think there's a little confusion on that. So again, I go back, and I know that you already guys are ready to vote. Reopen the discussion. I don't think it's bad for you guys to have this discussion now as to what you want. Because look, the last time that you guys met, you didn't have quorum. What happens if now, the next time you meet, you don't have
You don't,
quorum
right.
again? You know, so take advantage of the time that you have. That's all I'm saying.
We're still waiting on another.
We still want to have that third quote before making a decision.
Yeah.
And
We gotta save the time.
That's true, that's true. You should.
So that's why-
Do you
Let's
have it?
just table.
I have it, I have to email it to you all. What I can tell you is, I will send everything today. We're having a meeting coming up in May, because it's budget season anyways. So I think that would be the appropriate time.
Not too far.
Yeah,
And
we're
again.
gonna have 2 meetings in May.
He's gotta go back and ask about the 1800.
And I gotta ask, there's a couple of questions that are outstanding.
We-
I gotta ask the same thing to all 3 of them to see the
Right,
permitting
right.
permitting costs for all
Just
3 of them.
just leave it like that table.
Yeah.
And we'll pick it up on the next.
So as far as the maintenance, John, just for clarity purposes, the landscaping is done how frequently?
The landscaping is done it's about every 2 weeks as far as, coming by and blowing leaves and stuff like that. As far as actually trimming, is that what you're referring to?
Well, the hedges, the palm fronds that have been lying there for a week.
Yeah, I could, double check on that and verify and get back to
So
you.
there's no way of getting rid of like a big palm frond that's just lying there across and top.
Oh,
of the hedge?
absolutely. Whenever I see it, I'll have somebody come
Yeah.
and pick it up. And that's more of a like, as needed basis. There's been, whenever, and you brought it to my attention before and it's been picked up, so I'll make sure it gets picked up.
And then like all the leaves that gather up, I mean, cause that's why I'm reacting to what I'm being told by some of my.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the leaves piled up in a corner, I mean, that is done by the landscape
Mhm.
entities, right, there's no other. Okay, I mean, you're gonna get some of that, it's not gonna be perfectly clean every day, right?
Right, but we want to
The
keep
amount
it as
of
clean as
leaves.
possible.
Yeah, but not with the amount of leaves that are
Well,
falling.
yeah,
and
but I
that
don't know if
just
they're gonna
recently
send someone out every day to pick up all the leaves, I mean, that's. It's,
But people have to understand, even in our driveway, guys, we get all these
Yeah.
oak trees that, are shedding a whole bunch of leaves. I mean, they can't physically put somebody out there every day to
what I'm
pick up
saying,
stuff.
people
Yeah, we
have to
gotta be
accept the fact
sensible
that there's
about
gonna be
things.
leaves there.
Yeah,
We're out of the major leaves.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
getting slowly out,
Thankfully we
yeah,
are.
thank God, yeah,
The leaves and the pollen, let's not forget that.
yeah, the green.
Real quick, who picks up the garbage and what's the frequency? Regular,
Garbage picked up, I want to say every Wednesday, they go by, one of our handymen, actually, is the one that goes by every frequently, once a week to pick up all that, and then as far as like major garbage, like, we do have the big trash cans that's picked up on a regular, regular schedule, like,
okay, so it is picked up.
Yeah,
Once a week,
Tuesdays and
twice a week.
Fridays.
I want to say once a week, but I could double check. As far as I know that he goes, for sure once a week, but I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Because there was a comment about that, about garbage and a lot of garbage
Yeah, being picked up.
not being picked up.
No, but our guards are always picking them, as far as.
No, the comment was that there was literally bags of garbage that had been picked up.
I've never seen that, at least on
Yeah.
our side. I don't know how that happened. but
Somebody's.
I think that the
every
houses were in
transaction.
worse shape
I'll
before.
tell you this, when it comes to the trash cans, the trash bags, I know the time frame that took place, I was around the renovations. And so there was more garbage at that time than.
So that was from way back then.
Right, yeah, I'm assuming that that's when that comment came from, because remember, we were having bags and bags and bags, because
Yeah,
we're,
it's understandable.
obviously, you're taking out tile, drywall. But I feel like we did a good job to get that out as quickly as possible, given the fact that,
You
it's
did,
a constant, it's a dust pile, when you're going through a renovation, it's,
you guys should have
dust
taken pictures
everywhere,
of before and after.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
before and after you came into the picture.
So ultimately, like, I think that comment comes back from that time, because there hasn't been bags and bags and bags of trash since that time. So,
Anything else from that item? Let's move forward to item E, sign on 79th Avenue to prevent parking, blocking garden house during school dismissal times.
Are we gonna eliminate D and C
I don't
or
know.
how that work?
C,
C and D?
table C, and we just spoke about D.
We just spoke about maintenance of the guardhouse.
No, the one that I'm looking for is the continuous operation of the guard arms. Don't make that issue. What is that?
That's last year.
That's number,
Oh,
that's
that's right, sorry.
that's F.
yeah, that's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
So E, sign on 79th, what's going on with that? John?
So, this was brought to my attention from, to add to the agenda, from before, from you, Irene,
Yes.
from the last meeting where we didn't have quorum. We kind of just re-added it back.
Right.
So, did you wanna?
Yes, the problem that we're having, okay, is that a lot of the breakage that's happening to the guard arm is that during the dismissal time, when the cars just parked there. Today was a classic case and I couldn't take a picture because there was too many people there. That guard arm is up. Those gears are going and going and going. And if anybody here knows about gears, and I'm sure you do, what happens to the teeth on the gears when they keep on going? They start to wear down, right? And they break. So what we're trying to do, I told him, why don't you put a sign out there and not let them block the guardhouse? It not only avoids that, but it alleviates the traffic so that people can get out. Because there was a week there that they did something, it was last week, where they had the cars parked parallel to the school. They avoided the traffic. I don't know what happened after that whole fiasco at Bob Graham with the teacher, or whoever it is, the whole news thing. Traffic came horrible again, and today I spoke to Delma. I said, how's it going? It was, oh, horrible. Today has been just as it was before. So we have to protect something. We need to get out. Whoever lives on the east knows that we need to get out. But we also need to protect the equipment because we're paying for this. Every time it breaks, we're paying for it. And that's the reality.
It's a high police presence.
Not anymore.
The last
Everything
week.
there starts for a couple days.
I live on that gate. I
Okay.
live on 162nd, so
But you,
I'm in
you
and out,
know,
yeah.
you know the presence, right? It's never on our side. It's always on the outside where the school is. It's
Yeah.
never on the,
well, now it's
north end
beginning
of.
to accumulate inside inside.
Oh, that's been happening for a while now.
Oh.
That's been happening for a while. But the problem here is not that. I don't care where they park and where they wait. They have to go to school, pick up, whatever. The problem is that we need to be able to use the guardhouse to get out. They're blocking up a street and, you know, I don't know about you, but do you guys park on a street and just stay there? Yeah, I think there's an officer here. You're an officer, right?
Correct.
If we just stop traffic, we're gonna get ticketed, right? We're not supposed to do that. And these people, they don't park for a little bit of time. It's almost an hour. And
More than an hour.
sometimes it's more. I don't know. I get in and out, and sometimes I come in and out, and it is an hour.
So they're parking in the exit lane
Yes,
Yeah.
the guardhouse on 79,
on the street.
On the street.
on the street, and then that guard arm starts to come up.
Yes,
And 162, which is where I live, we can't make a right to get out or north or
It
south.
gets bottled up. I mean,
You know that.
yeah, it's, I guess, pretty bad. But there was a huge police presence there and that stopped and it worked out well. With Delma reflected on that,
Yes.
but now it's back to.
When they had people parked parallel to the school on the north street of the school, where they had that first drainage project, that they moved the fence or something, I don't know what street that is right now. They had them line up. That was great, because they would line up there and then come out, and our guardhouse was pretty clear.
I mean, there's a clear sign that says no stopping or standing, but
They
that's
don't
not being
follow.
enforced.
Neither do they do it on the swale either. They started parking on the swale again.
No.
I know that parents will be parents and grandparents will be, I have 8 grandchildren. I go to pick up in 3 different schools and I know how it works. But you gotta be able to get out of your street to get somewhere. You can't just block people like that. You know, and the guardhouse, you know, John, that guard arm is taking abuse. And we're paying for it. So if we do put a sign there, I don't know where you would put it. I don't know how he would design it, but something to avoid that block.
It won't be enforced. That's the thing. It has to be enforced.
That's the other,
If it's not enforced,
but if we do nothing, we have more of the same. Even if they enforce it for, I don't know, 2 weeks or whatever they wanna enforce. You know, I don't know. But it's not, it shouldn't be legal. It shouldn't be legal because we're paying taxes for that. And we're paying taxes every time it breaks.
If I can make a suggestion. Is you guys are an advisory committee. Your job is to really analyze these issues and bring it to the council's attention. The issue of a traffic calming device on a public street is an issue for the council inside. What you bring up is a really, really important issue. Extremely important. What I would suggest is if you decide to move forward on this item tonight, is that you format it as part of a report and you ask the managers to report it at the next meeting, council meeting. And you come up and you explain it, the issue of the police.
I think I did that once.
I think, and sometimes you have to do it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times before, you know, it becomes something consistent because, and remember too, that there's, I think when there was a high police presence, and I may be wrong, I'm just the attorney, I'm not, Matt, you know, administration, but I believe that's when, Major Javi was here. And now we have a different major, so
I'm sorry.
Gonzalez, so there's been
But
a
we had a
shift.
sheriff. We had a sheriff car there,
There's no sheriff yet. in the city.
but he was parked there.
Don't know.
I don't know where he came from. I don't know what town.
My suggestion would be, you bring it up, this is what was going on, this is what the solution, this is what's going on now. This is how it's hurting you. and I think your argument is sound. And ask that you want a traffic calming device to ask people.
But where would you place that? That's another thing.
That would be for the city to figure out, because
Yeah,
there's,
look what they figured out with those guard arms.
and I'll explain why too.
With the
because There
handrails.
is, the town recently was able to get authority from the county through an interlocal agreement for us to be able to do certain things on our municipal streets. And put certain signage and things of that nature. Stop signs, I know for a fact, we're not allowed to put, but other type of signage we are. That signage might be, I'd have to take a look at it, something that we could put. Where you could place it, I think is something for Public Works to look at, because we have to follow a certain criteria that we agreed to with the county that we would follow. But nevertheless, if you decide that you want to move forward with the item, I think it should be done in a formal type of report to the council. And that's something that we, and also I think twofold, I think I'm hearing from you is the issue of the police presence that was there is no longer there, and that was helping. And the second thing is, because there's no presence, the need for a sign.
When we sat with
I would like to add
Gonzalez,
to that, because there is a solution to this, and it has to do with the school, if they open up the gates.
Understood, but
I said, we
But that's
sat with
a
the
whole
school.
other kind of worms there.
Yeah,
All that will.
we sat with them.
Say something.
I was gonna talk about that. This conversation took place. I don't wanna mention names, but, Roberto Alonso was involved. The school, principal was involved, and there was no, they just wouldn't give in. It's their way or their highway. You know, the options were presented to open the gates and have the cars parked around the green area where you have the street that people drive around with the basketball courts are, or go around the perimeter on the other side next to Palmetto.
Mhm.
You know, there's some infrastructure there that allows cars to park and wait. But
Were you on that meeting that we had with the district director that day?
no, I had the
With
conversation.
DHI? Because we had a bill, you were there, right?
But I was
We're
there with
supposed-
another meeting
right.
with the guy, with
We're
that guy.
supposed to have a second meeting with this guy, but Sam, I don't know where you guys are with that. because you
We're
were
waiting
supposed to
till after
contact
the
the guy.
amendment.
It's a tough.
Now for the
But
amendment.
again.
No, they're not gonna budge.
They're not willing to.
They're not gonna budge. We have somebody else above that guy, Torres is his name.
Torres is at that.
And then there's another lady above him that we were gonna sit with, but we didn't have anybody else to sit with us. And
Yeah.
we asked
Leonard Torres.
Gonzalez to go in there with us, and he didn't go in there with us.
But understand,
they-
guys, that, yes, is the,
Has to go to the council.
well, that's one thing, but the other thing is too is you deal with different governmental entities. So the issue of the cars going into the school, that's a school board issue. And why they want to, why they don't, I'm not gonna pile on it, because I don't know. I mean, that's really their decision now. I am as city attorney, I can tell you that, you know, you do have a council that has certain authority to regulate and make decisions on what happens on our municipal streets. That's a municipal street. You have a valid concern of something that's going on and stopping traffic on our municipal street. You should bring it to their attention and tell them, we need to solve this. This is a problem that they're dealing with a gazillion problems. It's a whole city. You guys are focused in on one area of the city. And this is your part of your job, by the way, is to bring this to their attention. And you should.
Wait, I did.
I understand. But now you as a committee,
Well,
right?
like Lorenzo said, it might have
This
to
is part
go
of your
3,
job.
4
Do you
times.
remember the people on the east that used to leave through 79th Avenue when the school, I'm sorry to interrupt you, when the school first opened, that there was a no left to the school? They took that sign out.
Right.
I understand that the people that have the kids in that school that live in Royal Oaks, they have a right to be able to go through and make a left, but then what do you do with everybody else? But that helped considerably. Considerably, and now we're back to nothing, and then they're allowed to not just take over the guardhouse, which all of us pay for,
It's a little strange.
but the street,
Whole street,
162 Street, you can't get out or in.
Let me tell you something, the day that we have an issue inside Royal Oaks at that time with.
Oh, no, that's it. They can't come in.
The fire.
No.
Now the guys can come in. That's gonna be a problem.
Omero, they used to block
Or a kid
the
pops
fire
out
hydrant.
between one
You
car
would
and gets
get
hit.
on the park on the fire hydrants. That should
Which
never
happens
have
all
been
the time.
allowed. They gave
Or a
it too
kid
much.
pops
leeway.
out between one of those cars.
Oh, yeah, that
and
happened
gets
to
hit,
me.
and then there's a problem.
Yes, that happened to me.
And those-
I saw things that I said, I have pictures of kids walking through cars.
Yeah.
You know, when they did those ramps now for school, for the safety walk, whatever they call that, well, there's a guy that backs up and parks at the ramp. So that kid can't use that ramp, he has to go around. So what did it do? Why isn't there police saying you can't park there? That's a ramp for the kids to walk through.
Does the town provide police at the school anymore?
There's a police
For
for
traffic
the.
control? Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
But I
there's-
mean,
there's
that
two of them
block,
there.
that guardhouse is a block and a half from the school. So you're not gonna get the school. board.
Let's do this,
No,
based
not
on
about
what,
that.
Lorenzo
From
is
the
telling us.
entrance, from the
From
entrance.
the entrance to the school, the block and a half.
Let's do this, Bill, based on what Lorenzo is telling us, and we've been through this before. We know we have an issue,
Right.
okay, and we gotta resolve this issue. I believe we should all come as a committee on the next town council meeting. And let them know that this is a big problem and it needs to be resolved.
Because report.
It's been going on for years.
So do you think we
If
gotta
we don't
submit
do
it,
anything,
right?
Do we need to make a motion for this?
If I could just state one thing for you, you brought this up in the meeting, but you weren't part of the board. at the
Right.
time. This would be part of putting a report together, so
Yeah,
it would be very.
This is a
I
formal.
really
action.
hope, I hope they take it into
So we gotta
consideration.
prepare the report, the committee and a state.
Yeah, and
Between
through
myself.
John and I'll work with John and we'll help you put the report together, sure.
And it's gotta go to the town manager and then present it as part of the agenda.
Well, yeah, just it gets incorporated into the agenda, yeah, but we'll.
And
we'll make
hopefully
it happen.
soon,
So basically, you're talking about the traffic from the school is affecting
The guardhouse.
the operation of the guardhouse.
yes.
With danger, with, you know, dangerous actions.
Yes,
Okay, they're blocking traffic, they're blocking, you know.
162nd Street, which is right before the guardhouse.
not allowing fire trucks or rescue going
Right.
through, I mean, you name it,
Right.
police officers, you name it.
Okay, so.
So we have to make a motion to go ahead and
Yes.
prepare, so wanna go ahead and make the motion to go ahead and prepare the study, so
Yeah.
John can help us and, go in the next, council meeting.
Let's be clear on the motion. You wanna put a study together.
Study together for
Uh-huh.
the issue that is affecting
The guardhouse.
the guardhouse.
The safety.
The safety of the guard.
Well, you're
No, and the
requesting the town
functioning of
council
it.
to.
Safety functioning, the
No,
whole,
the whole-
So look into the issue.
Look at the-
and
we
come
want the
up-
council to take this seriously, that, they gotta take action.
And something that I would suggest to you, because it's important for the council to be able to not only hear from you, but also see from you is if you are around that area, around that.
Take pictures, yes.
I have,
that, and that can be incorporated as to.
Irene has plenty of.
I have
pictures.
plenty,
She has-
I even shared with him and with you.
What I
A
would do
van
is-
opening up the door and the kids are being put in the van at the guardhouse.
Yeah.
But what I would suggest is, is to put it into, make them contemporaneous photos, so.
Part of the report.
Part of the report, but photos as to, like, we're in April now, so photos.
Yeah, I know, I had to start.
Recently,
doing
like,
research.
right,
I
exactly.
let it go.
How they stand it so that they can see it.
Oh, man, that's another,
But
not
that's
that
what-
techie, but when I'll get somebody.
That's what I would do.
If you don't mind, Romero, can you, state your
So the motion on the floor is to go ahead and prepare a report, to go in front of the council, hopefully soon. To bring up the safety and issues with the guardhouse on the east of Northwest Avenue and down.
Mhm.
So we will second that motion. George, let's take a vote on it. Everybody in favor? Aye. Motion passes, so we should be able to be there soon. Let's keep on with the item, F. Guard gate arms being open during guard breaks.
Yes.
We've been through this one many times before.
And I do have, 3 quotes for them, which I will send. I wish I could put my screen up here, but we can't.
No, that's we recorded.
Yeah, I have 3 quotes for you and I can, send them all to you, by end of day tomorrow, so you have them. But yes, I have the 3 quotes that were requested in the past
For the mechanism,
for the next.
to continue the guard arm opening and closing by itself while they're on breaks.
Correct. Whether they're on breaks or on,
Yeah, shift
during
change,
shift change,
lunch
whatever.
break, whatever, they need to take it. I'm a human person. I know they need to go to the bathroom and I know they need to eat. And with Miami Lakes traffic, they'll get there late if they're stuck in a jam. We got delayed coming over here. I wanted to get here a couple of minutes earlier. And it's understandable, but the security has to continue. That's what I always thought. Look, like now at 7:30 at night, every night, the guard arms are up, right? On both sides, 167 and 79, right? And on your side, I don't know, I'm sure it's the same time.
Happens, yeah.
So whoever's gonna come in and break into your house, do you think they're gonna come when the guard arm is down, or? They have a whole half hour to get in and out, and these people are fast, so. Like I said at one of the first meetings, insurance deductibles are more expensive and I'm trying to fix this. Remember? You laughed at it, but am I right or wrong?
Didn't we talk about last time about having like sort of to avoid the guard gates being open all the time? Floating guy from, they cannot take the break at the same time, all of them, and have a floating guy.
Remember,
But
the
you got
problem is
bathroom
154 is in.
That one you can, you don't know when they need to use the bathroom, so.
No, imagine they're on one of the other sides and the person has to go to the bathroom and they're stuck on traffic. Miami Lakes has become like a traffic dead stop for everybody. Everybody knows that. We're all live here. I'm not saying anything that nobody doesn't know.
No, the mechanism is the same mechanism for the exit
That's the answer.
Same thing.
lane, right?
Right.
Now, with the money we're
Right,
spending
well,
on repairs.
It would be
isn't it?
different in the sense that this would be essentially it would be like a laser. That goes on, yeah, it's like, it's exactly the
So
same.
what do they use on the exit?
It's a reflector, this would be a laser. So technically, in this case,
It
if
will
somebody
work
was
the
to
same way.
walk through there, it would go up 2. Whereas the reflector is based off
It's
the,
like Star Island one,
It's an
right?
upgrade.
So, yeah, so there would be a switch where they could just turn it on and off.
correct,
You got 3 quotes already?
I got 3 quotes.
That would be the
Can
best.
you give a,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to pull up right now.
Where we are.
where we are
I'm
with
trying to pull them up, right?
3
Yeah.
quotes?
So you got bathroom.
Why
breaks.
don't we table this one to the end? I'll pull up the
Okay.
3 quotes and then that way give
I'm
you.
gonna have to go
the three
back
numbers.
to-
They're the same
3
thing.
shifts,
Oh, no.
You have
3
bathroom
meals,
breaks,
bathroom
lunch
breaks,
breaks.
and
Breaks also, or is it?
So,
No,
guys, I gotta go back and open up item number
We
3,
got
so we can go ahead and
bathroom
table.
breaks. Every
Item
shift has
F.
in like 24
Oh, no,
hours,
yeah,
there's 3
to the
shifts.
end. Did you guys understand now?
No, I'm sorry.
I have to go back to order of business deferrals, additions and deletions, because John wants to go ahead and move item on all business, item F to the end. Under new business,
So we
as
just want to
item, and it'll stay at
defer,
item or F, defer that
defer that
to.
to new
to
business.
New business on, under item.
You don't
F.
want to table it, because then
No,
you
we're
gotta
not
make a
gonna table it.
motion, and you gotta make another
No,
motion.
let's move it now.
We can just defer.
So anybody that wants to second that,
Okay.
second Bill, everybody in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes, so we can go ahead now and move into new business. Chairs outside the garden. I think that's everybody.
We have to do something uniform though, because the other day there was one that had a wooden chair, like, not like this, but 4 chairs. He dropped something and there was a car coming and I could see the car hitting that guy and splitting him in 2. Because the edge of the chair is at the, yeah,
On the curb.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Not for people, they're not to use a chair. They have to be, if they're gonna go sit down, they have to come back inside.
Yeah, I mean,
no chair?
no chair, I mean, it's not the only job where you're not allowed to sit down. I mean, people work in restaurants, fast food. and-
You don't think they'll stay in the guardhouse
Well, they just,
no more and put the little,
oh, they have to make the policy, you have to stand outside and take the photos.
Well,
They're gonna be in the,
sorry. Well, the policy is for them to come outside, take the picture and then open up the light. If you're gonna go in, if there's no vehicles come in,
Yeah.
just like I've done in the past when I worked there, go inside, get some rest, as soon as the car's coming, come outside.
right,
But if you come outside and step down and take the picture,
That's how it's supposed to.
but they're not doing that anymore.
no, it
Well,
didn't
they're
get a
supposed
little.
they take,
Yeah.
they take it on an angle.
They take the camera out of the,
No, they're open
curtain, and today at 4:50.
Yeah, I just addressed it right now with my face.
Yeah, sometimes they open the guard gate and then they take the picture out.
That's the other.
They're not supposed to,
They're supposed to do it before.
correct.
and then open the gate, then, and not all of them do it, some of them do.
No, there's, on our side, there's two of them that are wonderful.
Yeah.
The little old man, that guy will risk his life, but he'll do it.
Now,
And
now,
Thelma is
but
the
not at the
best
beginning.
person. Yeah,
Ese
well,
fue
he
que me
was-
hacía así,
yeah.
come with the gate open.
Pero
I have
you
a
got it
video
down
of
pat.
that.
I mean, again.
The other
we
one,
got things, but we fix it.
Okay, so then no chairs. I agree.
Some of these guys aren't no spring chickens, you know?
That's,
I think you should give them a chair that's.
What do people?
Yeah, but I mean,
It
to
lends
add,
itself to
chair?
or
problems.
to add to the
The
problem.
chair is good, I'll tell you why, because the chair, if somebody's gonna take that guard arm and run it through, he's faster at being in the chair and taking the picture and coming out of the guardhouse and then taking the picture.
If they're gonna do
Yeah,
that.
but we got a camera for that.
but now bringing
Is it-
this
is
as
it
as a
working?
liability issue to the town. Isn't that a liability issue, having a guy with a chair outside the guardhouse and a cart,
It's just gonna.
like that guy was trying
No,
to pick
no.
up his phone
Trip hazard.
and then trip hazard, and
And they have two phones. They have their personal one and they have the one that takes.
The structure itself, it's the person assuming a risk and going outside,
Right.
and they're independent contractors, so it's on them.
Just being in the path of traffic in the first place.
Yeah, that's.
Is a risk.
Assuming the risk.
That's a huge risk.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I kind of agree with him, you have some seasoned individuals that might be out there, that might be doing a good job, but can't stand for 8 hours. Okay, so come on, maybe a simple stool, maybe something different. Chair with a back and arms.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah, that's a
just
good
stool,
idea.
A short stool,
Or one of those, I forgot the name of
a
it.
smaller type stool or something, it's like a stool.
You know what
Can
I'm
attach
talking about?
something that just drops from the wall, or
It's just. You could do
like,
that.
five minutes.
going back to liability.
Oh, it's attached to the structure.
It's ours.
Now it's ours. If it's something that they have and they portable, it's through them. It's on them.
I'm sorry, but there's a chair that I can't remember the name of it now, but you mount it to the wall and you bring
No,
down.
council
you can't-
says that.
Council
that's
says
the-
again.
Oh, nothing to the wall?
Then
It's
becomes,
our chair.
What?
becomes
It's
town property,
our chair, when it falls in.
then becomes town property.
It's
I like a stool.
an accessory to the,
Little round stool.
Well,
What
hold
about
on,
SFM?
hold on, this is, we're talking about all this, but SFM has their regulations too as well
Yeah.
for their employees, and that's, at the end is, what do you guys wanna do?
I preferably not like to have a chair due to the fact that it's a trip hazard. As she mentioned right now, the guy trying to pick up, God forbid he would have tripped,
Mm.
fall into the actual driveway. Yeah, that's something that we're not.
but is that, and I'm sorry for interrupting,
No, no.
I'm curious. I mean, is that something really I think that's for you guys to decide internally as you operate? As letting your employees go outside and use a chair and sit down or not?
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think he's saying he prefers not.
Yes, so it's your regulation. Go for it. Go for it.
Are you having this problem with other
We,
associations?
for example, on 79,
No.
last week we had an officer that was just, again,
That's for us.
one thing is officers doing their job. And like I mentioned, all the officers are very,
Speaking of-
take the picture, what, but what we don't want is for them to get comfortable. They're doing the job.
That's
why Bill Murray is required to do it.
That's not meant for comfort, that's just meant.
It's just like when you're working in a restaurant, what are you doing? You're standing up and walking through to be greet the person. And, take the food. You're not sitting down, that's what we're doing. We're doing, customer service and taking the picture at the same time. And, opening up the barn. That's what we want. We
So
don't.
SFM's position is not to have a chair.
There's a chair inside.
They have enough visibility from the
Right.
inside when cars approaching.
Okay, so
They do? No?
no chairs outside.
Yeah, but they have to walk out.
No, I know
We can
that.
just say we'll defer to SFM on that.
Yeah, I mean, the motion is, that's SFM regulations, and we'll be according to the
Policies and procedures.
That's it, it's their procedure,
It's their policy.
we don't go.
We tried.
Okay.
Apologies.
We have to take a vote on this one for the chairs.
Do we
still have four? Yeah, we still have four, that's why I told you can go. We don't need to make,
There's no motion needed to be made if you're not changing. it.
That's internal SFM policy.
Okay, let's go to Venus. Guardhouses lights.
Yeah, that's not.
We have the officer here last time. Thank you for coming again. Then we do have a big issue with the lighting
I've been looking at the lights.
and yeah,
those lights that were placed there when you did the maintenance, those have to be the smallest, most darkest, cheapest
Light.
lights known to man. They're definitely not,
It's bad.
they're not accomplishing.
I must have,
They're not serving the purpose.
I did go to measure, it doesn't even comply with the 1.0 lumens, it's
Right.
like 0.3.
Yeah, that's like 0.3 lumens.
Did we check the specs to see if they put in the?
Yeah, the spec is small and cheap.
That is what was spec.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, actually, the spec, you have to comply with code, code says
Right.
1.0.
So we go back to the
I
contract.
don't write it.
Yeah, we gotta go back to the contract, because, yeah,
Based on.
I cannot imagine that those lights
There's-
being in an external structures in the middle of the street
right.
meets code.
No, they're not, they don't comply.
about what.
It was like 0.03, something like that.
And sometimes they don't turn them on, and that's true. That is true, because I used to text them, I said, hey, you know, it's 9 o'clock at night, one night, and it was
And they.
very, very, very.
Department needs better quality lights.
No, I'm sure if I go, well, he has to have my text. It was 9 something in the evening, and that guardhouse had not one light on.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And I
No,
almost
no,
ran
no,
that
it's
one,
bad for your-
I almost
even
ran
for your
over that one,
You
because
know?
he was in the street and it was dark.
It was, what was the name of that? John knows who the name of, what was the name of that guard that I told you that she was working that night? You know, a couple of nights at 9 in the evening, and the guardhouse was all pitch black. And I told her, I said, hey, I can't see you if I'm pulling up.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
She's no longer here, Ms. Brown.
Oh, there we go. Imagine, can't see them, you know?
No, thank you for coming. Okay,
Just having a sidebar here.
okay. All right.
Bye, guys, thank you.
So we don't have to worry about that before you leave, we don't have to worry about that equipment that we're gonna put for the continuous arm to work.
I don't understand what you're asking for.
The guard arm,
Uh-huh.
so that it continues to work.
The
even
end.
when- We don't have, do we have to go and stand in front of them to get something that is part of an ordinance voted on?
I don't understand what you're asking for.
Okay.
Talking about the report
Okay, what report?
for the parking and the block.
You mean the sign that,
No,
No,
continuous operation of the guard arm
What do you mean by
while
that?
they are on breaks.
Okay.
That's a device, right? That we haven't, did you mention it? Did you bring the?
That's the lady.
We switched it back to the end of this.
no, we
You're
haven't
asking
talked
for
about
the-
that one.
yes.
That's why.
We defer.
We want him here.
Lorenzo?
Yeah.
Hello, you know the town is in breach of the ordinance.
Okay, how so?
How so? Service. Where is it? Service. 24 hours per day, 365. We're not getting it.
Okay.
That's
We
why
went over
my
that.
question to you.
That was a technical borderline issue that, I don't know, it was last meeting or the
It
one,
was, we talked about it last
we
week.
talked about it, right? And
He
I think
wasn't
that
here,
we were in
Lorenzo
compliance.
wasn't
So we
here.
were in quorum, we are in compliance.
We didn't have a quorum, but
Right.
we are in compliance.
We didn't have quorum,
We didn't have
right?
quorum last time.
But we're not, the town is not in compliance of this
You're not-
ordinance
You
to
feel
us.
like you're not in compliance because of the breaks.
Technically, yeah, because the
If you
young
count-
is open.
If you count the breaks, which are, and the meal breaks, 3 shifts, half an hour for each
Talks
shift,
about
plus the bathroom,
Talks about
plus the shift
Human
change.
being.
This is
Yeah.
not anywhere
Because
close
it
to it.
mentions that there's sentinel guard gates. Sentinel means that there's somebody present.
It doesn't talk about the actual
Guard
gates.
gates, the actual operation.
service.
No, but she has a point, if it's 24 hours, then it should be somebody there visually 24 hours.
There is, they're just inside having lunch.
No.
And they're not there.
We're not, okay.
That's the
reason-
argument.
The argument is, the reason for the guard gates, guys, is to have a device operate.
She's saying that there's gaps.
There's a lot of gaps. In every shift, there's a half an hour, there's 3 shifts. Plus the bathroom breaks, plus the,
And that's when we talked about the floating, so the guys can float.
yeah, but that's not gonna work in Miami Lakes with the traffic. How are they gonna get from,
And I've mentioned that.
from the?
So,
Loch Lomond treats it a little different. We can talk about that.
so Loch
I'll
Lomond,
take a seat.
yeah, so.
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm sorry, I should have brought you a sandwich, but this was one of the reasons why.
I do love your sandwiches.
And by the way, this is off topic from the guardhouse lights, everything that we're arguing. But
Yeah, we're basically now
You're
moving
right.
forward to F, which would be further.
can you make a motion to please reopen F?
Let's
Get that out of the way.
Let's get out of the way.
Let's make a motion, going back to, item 3, order of recent deferrals and initial deletion. We're gonna move back to all business F guard gate arms being open during guard breaks. Second the motion, George, everybody in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes now, JP, you can talk about it.
Okay, so. We have the guards, at Loch Lomond, the way it works in general is. By law. Guards are not required to have a bathroom break. Or lunch break, I mean. They are not by law required to have a lunch break. It's, they fall under a certain rule that police officers follows, yeah, it's a statute,
That's a Florida statute.
it's a Florida statute.
Nobody
So-
is entitled to a break, but.
Right.
No, but we wanna be.
Well,
humane.
everybody is, but.
Everyone is, correct. So the way Loch Lomond does it is Loch Lomond, for years with Kent would not provide them lunch breaks. They would eat while they work. I believe since SFF, you have the guard swap, you have the two guards swap, roles, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how they get their lunch break,
But there
is
is
like
smaller.
the roving vehicle comes up to the front.
But doesn't mean you can't apply the same.
Lorenzo, imagine the way traffic is.
But the automatic one would not. That would be a complete change in the ordinance, because the ordinance doesn't allow for automatic guard gate.
We have an exit one, it's automatic.
Yeah, but not for entry.
Okay, if not for entry, then what do we do? If we don't have a continuous service of
I
this
think,
guard
I
on,
think he's telling you what you do. You
the
make
only
it
thing we have to
24
do is that rover?
No, that's not what it is.
No, what they have is, basically, they don't, they don't give a lunch break at Loch Lomond. They don't give them a lunch break. They would eat while they were working. However, SFM, what they're doing to cover that is they're rotating they have the ability because they have one additional person that can come up and they swap and while that person comes up, the officer goes on their lunch break. Because their ordinance requires a guardhouse to be manned 24/7. It does not mention anything about a roving vehicle. It's just an addition that
But
they
ours
add.
does too.
Ours does too.
How long is the break?
Right,
So
so
how
what
many guardhouses?
what you're requesting
Two
would be
hours.
to remove their lunch breaks. But they don't
No.
have,
I don't wanna do
Yes.
that.
You can do that.
Why would I do that?
No, they still have
All
a
I
lunch
want is,
break.
I want them to take their breaks, it's humane, you know, they have to go to the bathroom,
Right.
how are they not allowed?
the reason why Loch Lomond can get away with, can
'Cause they
do
have a
this is
second
because they have a
guard.
second person.
Well, we
So
don't
they
have that.
swap that, you don't have that.
When we did with the county though,
The
we
problem,
did with the county.
the problem you have with the ordinance, and I'm not saying it can't be changed in the future, you guys can't discuss it, it can't be brought up. But these are the technicalities and we're trying to, create in our ordinance, and this is something I'm working with Councilman Collado, and we're gonna bring it back. To create certain uniformities in the way that any changes can be made to an ordinance and what's material and what's not. At the end, how these ordinance are interpreted is up to the council. But the problem that you have, I mean, just looking at that ordinance and the way that it's worded, exactly, it's worded in the way that it should be applied is that it requires, and I'm going off memory, a sentinel guard gate. Sentinel guard gate means that a human being is at that guard gate 24/7. So if you're changing it from a sentinel to an automatic, now you're changing it from man to machine. That's different. That's completely different. Could you change the brakes of a human being so that there's always somebody there 24/7? Sure, you can do that.
But you
That's
need a
not a
good
problem.
person, you need a
But-
rover.
You may need somebody else additionally, that may be a little more expensive, but that's what you have. But and I agree with you that right now, if you have gaps in time, you don't have that, you're violating it, you can take measures to correct that. But to change sentinel to machine, that's a material change. That's a material change.
Okay, so how do we go about getting what we're paying for as a tax?
What is our policy with SFM on that?
No, whoever did that contract allowed them, which I understand, to take their lunch breaks, their bathroom break, and when they change shift, they go
The gate open.
with the gate open for half an hour, 3 times a day.
With them?
It wasn't always that.
No.
With the county, it wasn't like that. Do you remember going in to Royal Oaks and having the guard arm open for half an hour? All of them at the same time simultaneously? Correct? Omero, you've been there as long as I do. That has never happened. We have to figure it out because honestly, it's three shifts. They do it at every shift. The half hour for dinner, whatever, now at 7:30, whatever the next shift is, they have half an hour and whatever that next shift is. Plus the bathroom, plus like I told them the last time, it's understandable with traffic. You might not make it on time. I think that John said the last time, well, they're supposed to wait for the other guard. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You will see the guardhouse totally shut down and
And
there's no car there,
Unmanned.
unmanned. Especially on 79th Avenue.
That's-
That's.
That happens. But it does. It does. And then there's another thing that I think we talked about.
Has that happened lately?
Bueno, yo tengo I have pictures here for,
Yeah.
since before COVID.
What is SFM's policy for
I haven't seen it on the west.
all your other jobs?
Yeah, how do you,
have anywhere where they work during lunch?
I mean, everyone works while they're, I mean, everyone has a lunch while they're working,
while they're working, what about the bathroom break?
same thing.
What do you mean?
Well,
What do you do? You have to leave the guard on hold.
Well, I mean, in this instance, but like, for example, in other jobs, they, I mean, they're not, you know, gatehouses. They're going to the restrooms while they're working at the same time.
Keep the gate closed to go into their business and come back out. There's a line of and you gotta wait, yeah, that's the only way you can actually stop that. You can't stop Mother Nature. But yeah, you get 3 cars and you're already on.
You might wanna listen to John.
Go ahead, John.
So the concept is called paid lunch. Paid lunch means that the officer is being compensated for the work that they're conducting. Now, they have to have a meal because they're gonna be 8 hours without a meal. So that means that they will break their job to have a meal, but if the job requires them to go back to their duties, that's what they do. This is a common concept with law enforcement, meaning that an officer may be having lunch, but if there's a situation, an emergency that requires their attention, they need to abandon what they're doing so they can go and take care of the emergency that they're being called to attend. That's exactly the same policy that we follow. What we do in other jobs is that the officer has either a paid or a non-paid lunch. If it's a not paid lunch, the officer can even leave the site, leave all of their communication equipment because they're walking out and 30 minutes later, logging back in. In this case, there's no clock out and no clock in, they're on the job. So again, the concept is they go inside, they start having a meal. If a vehicle comes, then they go out and
Interrupted lunch.
interrupt the lunch and then they, check the vehicle in and they go back and they continue. Now, the concept that we're following in Royal Oaks is that since we want this to be predictable, we scheduled the lunch. So we know at what time the officers are going out to lunch because previously the complaint was, we don't know what the officer is doing. And the officer would say, well, I'm having lunch. And sometimes their lunch would take an hour or more because, if they have to be interrupting their lunch to go out and check vehicles and go back in and continue having lunch. And, it becomes a longer process than you would. So that's what they do. Now, in terms of restrooms, we cannot mandate biology.
No, yeah.
So basically, they go to the restroom when they need to go to the restroom. And basically, there are 2 options there. Either the person waits until the officer comes out, or the officer lifts the arm gate until they can come back out. The alternative, which is the rover, is, again, what we use in Loch Lomond. And is it perfect? No, it is not perfect, because obviously we may have traffic issues and we cannot predict when they're gonna go to the bathroom. Now, is it predictable when it comes to the lunch break? Yes, of course, because you can stagger lunch breaks in a way that this officer would be able to provide with potentially 6 guardhouses in a rover with a relief for 30 minutes, and then eventually use the extra time to perform more additional community patrols, which was a suggestion that was made at the time. So that's how SFM
In other, you have other developments that have more than one guardhouse.
Oh, yes, of course.
And this is how they do it, just with the rover.
It's like a military post. I mean, they come and they get relieved and then they go to the next post and get relieved. and
So they
then to the
can't
next
take their
post.
lunch breaks at the same time, like they're doing now simultaneously.
Exactly. The reason why they're all taking their lunch breaks at the same time is because you requested predictability. Because again, the problem was they're, you know, it's, I don't know, from the 7 to 3 shift, it was 10 AM and they were on their lunch break. Well, because we were not dictating or mandating when were they having their lunch break. They were basically eating whenever they felt that the traffic flow had decreased and they would have time to have their lunch. And then we said, no, we don't want to do that. We wanted to all have the lunch break at the same time. So when we drive through and we see that the R gate is up, okay, we'll check if it's within the time allotted for them to have their lunch break. So that's what we did.
So presently, we're not being billed for the lunch break.
No, you are being billed.
For the
Because
lunch
it
break.
is a paid lunch break, yes.
It's a paid lunch break, but they're not working. Right,
Exactly.
They stop and go.
so if they were to work.
They eat and work.
during their
That's
lunch-
all.
Oh, the guard is up.
So if they
They
were to
don't stop
work,
and go.
if they were to work their duties while at lunch, is that an additional cost to us?
No. What we
No,
would
we're
need
just
to
not
do,
getting the service.
what we
That's
would
all.
need to
But
do is,
right now, we're paying for what you call paid lunch.
yeah,
Yes,
but what
Which
you
means
mean
that they have to
just,
obligate.
We're paying
No.
24
they're
hours.
not.
Yeah.
You and I both know that.
yes, but what we would need to do is extend the period where they can have lunch. Because if during those 30 minutes, they're constantly bringing the gate arm up and
That's a
down.
solution,
That's
but we won't be paid. We're not paid
Guys,
anymore.
guys, stand by.
I thought
Yeah.
they were, I'm sorry, I thought that you guys are rotating a replacement for lunch.
No.
No, we're talking about
That
it.
is the suggestion that we're implementing at
It's
Sunday.
additional costs.
You would have to
It's
hire
it
somebody.
costs more than what we're paying for paid lunch.
Yeah.
Pay lunch.
Yes,
You would
pay
get
hours.
an additional
We're
person.
paying for paid lunch.
It's
Give
an
them-
additional salary
They don't pay for paid
for
lunch.
24 hours, right?
Then they gotta
Sorry?
replace
It's
it.
an additional salary for 24-hour shifts.
Exactly.
The thing is, the lunch at each district, okay, is an hour, half an hour here, half an hour there.
What we need to make sure is
But
that
hire
if
guys
we're
for
paying
an
for
hour.
paid lunch,
You're gonna have to
those
hire.
guards, even though they take an hour to finish.
Like you said, they gotta extend the lunch,
Extend it and let them work the arm
that's it.
and make sure that they don't
Let
leave.
me get back to my comment, okay? Visualize what I'm about to say. Do you really want a guard standing there with a sandwich in his hand?
No, he's not standing with the
Camera.
sandwich.
in the inside.
Okay, so now there's a delay. Because if he's inside and he has a lunch and he's eating, or he's eating his, rice and beans or whatever.
He's gotta come out.
He's gotta come out. That's gonna delay traffic. So especially.
And that's what's always.
There's a line of cars, he's gotta stay out there.
Yeah, but it has to happen now because we're not giving them a chair
It's
anyways.
not
They're gonna
something that
come
we
in
haven't worked
and out.
on for 15 years. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been going on.
15, no,
years.
more than 20. Before that.
And it
I think you have complaints now, there will be complaints.
But right
They
now,
may not be eating, but they will be chewing.
yeah, but to take a picture, what is it, what
Back
difference
in the
does it make?
days, now that you mention that, that's how the county used to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, I told you, we never had those guard arms up and we never had
No,
an
we
absent
want to watch.
guard
He
house.
said.
When there's a
Yeah.
shift change, that you need to implement that, John.
Well,
Make
we-
sure
we'll be
that
a
you
learning
wait
curve.
for that other guard.
The detective wants to put it in,
Because-
put it in here.
What?
so
What's that?
Oh,
Thank you.
Just a minor question and observation comment. A roving guard would be more money, but wouldn't you also have more hours of a roving guard? Because the covering of the lunch would only take up maybe 3 hours.
Right.
You have 4 posts, half hour each, and travel time in between. You would have a roving guard who would cover them for lunch. They'll be happy, they'll be well fed. They may use the restroom during their lunch. And the roving guard would also be more of 2 more eyes
You
on
can
the
have
road.
roving the whole.
Directly, the other additional maybe 5 hours of
But that would
extra
have to be-
eyes in the neighborhood.
That's a major change.
For theirs, they.
That's not gonna work, right?
It's not gonna work.
Yeah,
I thought they were considering that.
No, nobody's gonna work.
Now, with regards to the changing of the ordinance and all that stuff, I mean, discussing those issues. Again, we are gonna work, I mean, I spoke with Councilman Griozzi today. We're gonna be meeting next week, and we're gonna be bringing something back to create a way to be able to change those. Or bring to the council changes to those ordinances to allow for additional services, but you know, you gotta work within the parameters of what you have in that ordinance right now.
That's all now.
And you can ask for more, but
But you're not
Yeah,
changing, you're not changing the verbiage on the last sentence, right?
what's the?
Service is, will be provided 24 hours per day, 365 days a week.
I'm telling you how to get there.
Okay, but we're not changing that in the ordinance.
Unless.
No.
Vote for it.
No, we can't. Then why have a guardhouse? With-
You can have it rolling for both sides.
Yeah,
That's
but
one
that's
of
a
the
lot of
things that
money.
say-
Hours for.
We gotta go back and change the ordinance, we gotta go for a vote, and it's gonna take.
Because like the Royal Oaks, I mean, the Loch Lomond, their ordinance provides for roving.
They always had it from the
They've always
start.
had it from the start.
Well, we
Ultimately,
had roving too from in the beginning.
No, we had
Never.
something SFM was providing in lieu of something
No,
else.
we had roving in the beginning.
Never.
No, I never had, no. We
I
had,
did,
Miami-Dade County Police would patrol the area.
No.
I don't
Well,
remember.
the HOA
It's almost
did
9
rolling for a while.
Maybe it was the.
Yeah.
Maybe HOA.
Well, on the little golf cart, they did a lot of
With,
it.
yeah, and then after that as well.
I didn't-
guys, just keep in mind, it's gonna be 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we gotta.
And we have,
Three more
several
items.
more items to get through. I just wanna be clear on one thing. You this will not fix bathroom breaks. This may not adjust anything with regards to, guards, switching,
No, he said that he would make sure that that the guard doesn't leave his post until the other one arrives, right?
Right.
You said that. in
we
our-
have discussed already.
That is
That is something that's
policy.
already
They
discussed.
cannot abandon post unless there's another security officer.
And
Which
about
is-
break
which
could be
is-
10 or 15 minutes, not 30
I'm
minutes.
gonna go ahead and real quick, just give you the 3 quotes for that was part of this.
Right.
Are you done with that, Ed?
Yes.
And then you guys can make
Are we
it.
done with that?
Well, they haven't, yeah. So the first quote is from iWatch Systems. They are our current vendor. And for four sensors, it would be $6,589.20.
6,000?
For 4 divided by 4.
For APS Solutions, this would be a different mechanism. Theirs would be kind of like on the ground, but with an automatic switch. Theirs quote that they provided was $11,116.84.
Yeah.
Ouch. And then the final one is from Consolidated Parking Equipment, and theirs is $4,239.20.
Good system.
What's that system?
It's
How do they compare with?
it
the
is
first
called an optic sensor. I'll show it to you right here.
So they're both sensors, one and two. And-
It would be a sensor. It's basically infrared,
Similar to what's on here.
similar to iWatch system.
So it'd be $1,000 per guardhouse.
That's installed and everything, permanent, everything.
That's everything. The exclusion from here would be the switch, which we can get from our electrician.
What was that last number?
4,000,
To. For the minutes.
4,000, right? You said 4,000?
The last one was $4,239.20.
1,000 and change per guardhouse.
I thought.
It's gonna be the same number
I thought
next
you said
month.
that too.
No, we're gonna wait till Lorenzo
Check your phone.
is in this part of the capital improvement and 10% and the 1 cent and. If can we take a vote on?
You guys
that?
can vote for any, you guys here
Right.
can vote for whatever you
That
want.
doesn't mean.
If you wanna pass anything, it can be passed through here, through this
Right.
mechanism. We'll figure out tomorrow
What's gonna
what's the
happen.
next mechanism.
So this is the capital, Lorenzo, let me ask you something, and I'm sorry, this is a capital improvement because it doesn't say it on
Doesn't
the
exist.
ordinance, it doesn't exist.
Well, it's not a capital improvement. I would say that it would be a change, could be a change in the ordinance.
It's a sentence.
Okay.
Right,
What was the term you used?
Yes, this is.
Sentinel.
It's sentinel,
But-
which means it's live. You're asking to put a sensor, that's.
So we have a sensor on the exit, I don't understand that, again, I don't understand that,
Well,
because,
because the exit
Exiting
is
not a
your
security
exit,
breach.
yeah, it is, exactly.
but we're in breach now.
No, but exiting is not a security.
You
breach.
can have.
But
it
we're
when you
in
exit
breach
and
of
not when you
our
come in.
ordinance
There's a breach
now.
When you open the door. For
You
half
are.
an hour.
So then,
3 times a day.
If we're
it's the
trying
same
to
thing.
figure out this, I don't know, for 1,000 and some change, what does it work out to per resident? I mean, I think this is a good thing.
I wanna just state one thing.
Okay.
Consolidated Parking Equipment, which is the $4,000
Yeah.
quote that is not including the switch itself.
We're not
The
gonna-
other two are fully included, all included.
Installation of the
everything.
switch.
For, installation of the switch,
Another
installation of the
thing,
sensor,
John, another thing
labor,
that-
all of that.
that we should take in consideration as a committee. Sometimes we're voting and we don't have all the facts. And
No, I
like-
understand
like
that.
Right now, I would like to read on the three proposals,
Right.
see what they have,
Table
which one
that.
works better.
No, but I don't think that's
We don't know
the,
which of the
I
three.
don't think that's the point that I'm trying to make.
But-
What I'm asking him is why, if we're in. Omero,
Because
I'm
you
not,
have-
I'm not
you have-
saying that. what I'm trying to ask him.
Let me see if I can answer your
It's a
question.
breach of,
You have a language of an ordinance.
Right?
If you exist to give advice on how to enforce and how to improve, on how to better the actual execution
Of the
of
ordinance.
that ordinance, but you are bound by that ordinance. The IRS is bound by a law that says that their job is to collect taxes. They can't automatically decide that they're also going to do immigration because that's outside their bounds. And I'm using that just kind of as an example. Everything in government has a law that tells it what it's supposed to do. So your ordinance calls for a man, 24 hours, 7 days a week, all the time, don't eat lunch, guard gate. So what you're talking about is changing it from and using technology to change it from that man to something that is automated. That's a material change in what and how that guard gate is supposed to function, what it's supposed to be. It's no longer being supervised, it's all of a sudden now automatic. That's
But we're no longer getting the service.
and what I'm trying to say is, your job is to get that service and figure out how you're gonna get that service and use that service. Your job is to execute, not to change.
So it's not out
If
of
you
the
wanna
table.
change it,
The device is not out of the table
if
because
you
if
wanna
this
change
other
it, go
thing,
back to the council, tell them, guys, I want this,
Well,
and I wanna change it.
because if it's more expensive to get a
no,
robot.
but according to what Lorenzo is saying, this item will be we can't vote on it. Because it's like he says, it's changing the ordinance.
So it's a capital.
Changing or modernizing?
No, so
Modernizing the ordinance?
But how
They
do
will
we
have to
comply with this
You
rule?
wanna understand, guys? The way.
But are we
ordinance is-
violating the ordinance right now?
Yes, we are.
doesn't mean we can do something else.
But exactly.
So how do we fix it?
We just, I mean, it's a suggestion.
But
No, we're not fixing it.
Mail out for all the residents
Violating.
to change the ordinance.
To change it, yes.
Yes.
You can change it. You
So
can
that
vote
would be
to
the
change
first
it.
See, but
But
that
what
way-
else do you do? You don't.
And then once that, if the majority of the residents say, yeah, we wanna change, then we'd have to go to the council.
That's never gonna happen.
That's,
People
and
don't
that's,
vote. Nobody knows that.
that's the
People don't
issue.
vote.
People don't vote.
That's the issue right now.
Enough
where it's-
people, Phil, enough people.
It costs a lot of
It might be 10, but if it's.
We just
10,
put
what happened last week?
$20,000.
Yeah, look what happened last week, 2,000.
There's not a city, there's not a mechanism within the city right now to be able to effectuate a change in that particular ordinance. Let me take that back. There is a mechanism. The town council can change it. The town council can do whatever the heck they want. Because again, an ordinance, what it requires is 2 votes, right? Or two hearings. But what the council wants to do is that it understands that, and maybe they're gonna be upset if they're hearing me that I'm talking for them, but what I believe that they feel is that they don't want to, they understand that these neighborhood service districts affect a certain population, doesn't affect the entire town. So they want to be conscious to those that it's being affected, because at the end, if there's any change, it's probably also change the amount of money that are being taxed. And so they want to make sure that those that are being taxed have a word and that they understand what they're being taxed for. So the idea is to create a mechanism by where there is a voice of those people, and then that aids the council in changing the ordinance. Going back to what I said, what you have before you is an ordinance that calls for a sentinel guard. It's being violated. I can see how it's being violated. I can see that and appreciate that. So your job is to figure out and go back to the council, tell them, it's being violated, we need to fix it, and these are the options that we have. Now, if you want to bring to them the idea of, by the way, also another idea is if you guys decide that you don't want to go down this route, there's also these other things that we've discussed as far as things that you can do, council, and we'd like you to also take those into consideration.
which will require a change in the ordinance. But they're two different things, they're apples and oranges. One thing is enforcement of the ordinance, one thing is changing the ordinance. They're two different things, but.
We can go either way, but
I mean,
there's
we
a
can go both
process.
ways. I mean, you guys we're already doing a report for, the guardhouse on 79.
On 79th, include that on the report.
Would
We're gonna go
you
that route.
recommend another, like, a report again for?
What would be changed in the ordinance?
In Sentinel, you would change it to.
From a physical person to a device.
So
But then
automated?
it says Sentinel.
Or a
It
combination.
says it's Sentinel. It says
No,
it.
both.
I've read it so many times that I just.
When was this ordinance
I haven't
put
read
in
it.
place?
This since day one.
Oh,
we-
this is
we
when
made
Miami
a special
did
tax
91 or
district.
So
First voted.
a lot of new technology has come
Yeah,
out
back in the
that
day,
safeguards our purpose.
The same thing with the bylaws on the HOA.
Yeah.
But look, how did it go? We spent $20,000 and we probably
That
had
was down,
666 homes. We had 100 people voting. So what do we do now? We gotta go back and still enforce the bylaws that are 43 years old.
Tom, I mean, they spent about 50 grand and we got 10% people.
There, and that's
But
another,
that was a no-brainer, nobody.
2,100 people went out to vote.
It's an instant vote.
And you're gonna spend it again.
Yeah,
And now-
again, there's
just a lawyer.
moments in life that you have to figure,
I'm just a
a
taxpayer.
little common sense, you
I'm
know?
a taxpayer.
Listen, it's
Yeah,
not,
you live it.
I know Barbie has to go.
You forgot.
It's not- We
You got a lot of
got
skin in
two
the
more
game.
items. Okay, we still haven't vote on this one, well, which route we're gonna go. If we, I prefer to read more about it. On the proposal, and go that way and then table
Label
it for next time on the device.
Is there a motion?
Okay, in the meantime,
Still have questions.
in the meantime, can we have those guards, as much as I hate to do that to them, work through their,
Right, let's see
we're
how it
paying
goes.
for it.
Let's see how it goes.
We can try it.
No, right.
We're paying for it. Let's try it out. I hate to do that to anybody. I really do, but
Do a pilot.
you know, we're,
Pilot until
okay,
next year.
okay. And no, and the fact that those guard houses are all empty
Next month?
at once.
That was the last
I
thing.
don't know how you guys are on the west side, but the people on the east, 167 and 79 at the same time at 7 to 7:30 or whatever time it is, they're up.
Irene, let's
So,
do this,
let's
we're
go
gonna
ahead.
meet next month again, within 30 days. So let's try it for 30 days, let's see how it works, and then we have a report.
Is there a motion?
So I'm gonna put that motion on the table.
What make,
The
well,
motion
say
on
the
the
vote.
table is to go ahead and
Of course,
enforce the no lunch. 24/7.
no, not no lunch.
The paid lunch,
The paid lunch.
paid lunch. For 30 days and come back in May when we have our next meeting and have a report.
I second that one.
Okay.
Barbara seconds, everybody in favor, aye? So motion
When
passes.
you state that you want to report, what is it that you want to report on?
Guard.
How is it working?
How is it working? Is it okay?
Report from SFM?
From SFM, yes.
Okay. a
You're
report
From
the-
SFM.
You guys are under construction on the
Also,
west, so
the
you won't
UJP.
appreciate it, yeah.
Get any.
They're almost
from the public.
finished. Almost done already.
Need to have that.
Add it to
Whatever report they say.
state.
Well, yeah, about 168. So I'm talking about-
168 is,
I have a question for, I don't think he quite answered the question, and I still have a doubt in my mind,
I'm so sorry.
but he's leaving.
I know. Can you, would you be able to open up public comments?
The problem is I have to go back and open public comments. If we
I
can
had a
have-
minute left, but
Yeah,
he
but
didn't
you
answer
should
her
have-
question,
Let's not use it.
because I wanted to hear
Okay,
you first.
so I wanna go ahead and go back to public comments and open up public comments, so, Lydia can. Second, Louis, everybody in
Thank
favor,
you.
right? Go ahead, take your minute.
I don't think you answered the question. If we were to decide, the committee were to decide to put that guard gate arm up and down when they're having lunch, is that a capital improvement? That was the
It's
question.
not a capital improvement, it's a change to the ordinance.
Right.
It doesn't exist, and you can't keep it, and you're not allowed. to. You have to ask the
We have to
council
go
to
to
change
vote.
the ordinance.
we have to-
Process.
You know.
Council go to vote and then ask the
It
people to vote.
depends on whatever mechanism. the council
Listen,
decides. They haven't-
we should put a guardhouse in one place and an unmanned guardhouse. It works in Puerto Rico and there's two. I mean, we should be smarter than they are.
What was that again?
That's a discussion for.
Outside,
No,
outside.
no, we'll start it whenever. So, thank you, Lydia. So I'm gonna close public comments again.
And I would just like to make a second suggestion,
Yes,
for you to, change your motion. On the
update,
lower practice bathroom breaks.
okay.
My suggestion would be to give them a week,
2 weeks. start,
Yeah.
to get ready.
To get ready for that, and then start, and
For
then.
vacuum or for
No,
meal?
the motion will be to enforce the paid lunch, like give SFM a week to prepare
The guards.
Okay,
What can
and
we
then
do?
give us a report
Okay.
in the next 30 days.
Yeah.
So who
let's do
seconds
that.
that motion?
Yeah, you have.
I second.
Second the motion, so everybody in favor?
Aye.
So motion passes. Guys, it's 9:06. D, guardhouse windows and doors, we gotta table this, this is a big item. Okay, we're not gonna have time just to talk about that now. And E, preliminary budget discussion, we're gonna have to take it next time. C, we did, no, we didn't do C, charging us as a.
I have a quick comment on that one, I think. I'm not sure why do they need to be charging, can't there be two SFM phones in the guardhouse?
Or extra batteries.
One is charging while they're using the other,
Bless you.
when that one goes dead, they switch to the other one, and put that one, the other one on the charger. No extension cords, nothing.
Well, there's an additional cost to that, obviously, because we have to pay for the extra phone plus the
The line.
extra license.
What is the contract, I mean,
But you can have a
So-
rechargeable battery stuck in
or,
there, you
or
don't
a
have to be,
battery, it's just-
you gotta buy a battery
Oh,
for
yeah, just
2
the
hours.
batteries,
because
you just
don't
swap the
need-
battery out.
I mean, is that what they do in all the
rechargeable?
guardhouses, they have extension cords?
That's a $20 expense.
I'm sorry?
An extendable battery that you charge
Yeah,
frequently,
we can
and maybe
do
gives you
that.
another 8 hours.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's a
I
solution
just,
to that.
well,
That's
so
not
I,
easy to fix.
I built
There's
an
no-
arcade, the lady was sitting in the chair, she had a big white extension cord, and she had her phone plugged into it, which she had here watching TV or something. And then she had another
seen that.
phone from the guard gate taking pictures. It was like cords
That's what happened to
everywhere.
that man.
I went
She
over and
almost,
took
one time
pictures.
she almost tripped.
I think having that extra battery charge in there,
That's a
Yeah, I
solution.
think there should be a policy on the personal.
Is that an additional cost?
I think there should
You
be.
can have,
Sorry?
you can
Is that an
have a
additional
battery
cost
on the
to buy the
phone
battery?
and a core in
Yeah,
there.
but we can afford.
Yeah.
Because
So-
it's not gonna be a recurring cost.
And there should be a policy on the.
Is that gonna be
personal.
tabled or?
No,
I understand.
they're gonna go ahead and have.
There's no need to put a motion.
They
No,
should do
no
what you
motion
just
for that.
said. Oh my God.
That's
I
a
forgot.
SFM.
Okay,
So,
it's 9:08.
As long as you report it to us, we'll be
Yeah.
acting immediately.
Yeah, we know you can't be there every time, but it's.
The what? I messed up.
Okay, guys,
Before we go ahead and,
Go ahead,
and
Jamie.
close up, budget season is obviously coming up. We need to have meetings in May. We need to have 2 meetings in May. Were you guys okay with having the first meeting on, say, the first week of May, and then having the final one on the last week of May?
Labor Day.
I'm okay.
No,
with
Memorial.
Memorial Day is when?
I don't know, but.
27.
The last Monday, the 27th, we
27th.
can have it after Memorial, on the 28th, 29th.
With the 6th, or I'm sorry, with the,
We do the 30th.
Under the 6th of May.
May 6th.
Yeah.
May.
Yeah.
Let me double check real quick. Let me pull it up. real quick.
6 and 20.
I can't be here on the town.
I know that the 26th for me is out. That's my grandson. I can be
Here
here
the 6th and the 21st.
May. We're in May, so the first one was what?
Give me 1 sec.
The 6th is on a Monday.
You said the 6th?
Uh-huh.
The 6th is clear.
Okay, that's on a Monday, 7:30.
Okay, so 5, 6, 7:30.
Then can we do the other one on either the 28th or the 29th?
What day of the week?
28th is good for me.
28th?
But what day of the week is it?
What Tuesday? What's it?
28th of Tuesday. Tuesday. The day after Memorial Day.
That everybody's back.
Well,
Not necessarily.
Saturday. People extend those weekends. I mean, I'll be here. I mean,
How about the 21st?
unless, do you have to be?
That
on
is
Tuesday?
that is
It's
the,
too close, one with the other. It's better.
Does it have to be on a Tuesday?
No, could be on the
Could
29th.
be the 29th or the 30th?
Could be the 30th or the 30th.
29th or 30th, I'm good either one.
Okay, so what do you guys prefer, Wednesday or Thursday?
May 30th.
30th?
Thur-
Okay,
Thursday.
so we'll do it on May 30th,
May 30th,
Thursday.
the Thursday.
same thing, 7:30?
7:30.
Yeah. So, okay, so now we'll make a motion, it's 9:10, and I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Motion second by George, everybody in favor, aye? Aye. So we're gonna go out there. Thank you.
Before then, we'll get on.
Are you going, now with this, thing, it's not an issue. They're gonna have that.